So the reason why I'm kind of using the theme is so that way there's like some background music in the background, but it should be turning off once we start playing the video. I do have some tabs open, some data that I might bring up in the video, but overall, oh yeah, I need to open up my notepad. But originally, realistically speaking, I was only really going to watch parts of the video. That was actually because I was watching it previously. I was cutting it up so that way maybe I can, like, there's some parts that I don't need to watch. But truth be told, he actually does say in the video, you should watch this in its entirety. So I'm gonna watch this in its entirety. So I'll be doing that. Hey everybody, how you guys doing? So I have my notes here ready. Hopefully the PC won't be too slow because I'm doing some processes in the background because my stupid self did not notice my hard drive is getting full. So let's get this started. All right, so I should preface this as well. At the very end of the day, these are just opinions. So I would absolutely, positively heed my call to be respectful, to be, don't be a jackass, is what I'm gonna just basically outright say. Don't be stupid, you know, respect people's opinions. Don't go harassing people, because I sure as hell won't be condoning that by any means necessary. I'm just critiquing a video as a Mega Man / Capcom fan, and that's about it really. But yeah. Otherwise, let's begin.
If I have released this video on time, I want to wish you all a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. If I released it late, then I offer you the same, but belated sentiment. I'd like to add a short disclaimer before we start. I relinquish all ownership and copyright, legal or perceived, of all ideas, game concepts, or other suggestions enclosed within this video, and hereby declare that Capcom or other applicable parties may make use of them
I will
as they
say,
see fit.
I'm going to be
This
pausing
video is not
quite
intended
often to
attack
give
or call to
commentary.
arms
I'm not
any
just going to
actions against
watch the
Capcom
entire
or related
video
parties.
in its
I
entirety.
ask that all
while
comments
doing
and
so.
criticism refrain from hurtful or vulgar language, demands, or threats. Anybody found doing so in response to this video are wholly disavowed by myself, my channel, and my brand. Thank you.
All right. So, as he says, don't do anything stupid. Be respectful. Don't harass anyone. Don't harass the guy. Don't harass Capcom. Don't do any of that. Just, you know, keep a clear head. Be a gentle soul, and you know, do your thing. I do have some timestamps here that I'm gonna pause here and there, and I'm gonna, like, you know, give my opinions and whatnot. So just to give you the preface of how I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna try to actually say things, not just sit there and watch and not do very much of anything. So keep that in mind as we play. I'm gonna continue now.
Dear Capcom, and to all others whom it may concern, hello to you all. This video is coming from the perspective of me as myself, and not the lovable yellow Reploid I personify on this channel. I've been a fan of Mega Man for as long as I have been able to form memories. Some of my earliest memories are literally waking up to watch the Ruby Spears Mega Man cartoon in the early morning before being whisked off to daycare, and then eventually kindergarten. I was immediately attracted to the colorful cast of characters, fascinating premise of robots fighting or helping humanity, and the charming heroism of Mega Man himself, as expertly portrayed by Ian James Corlett behind the voice. One day, while on vacation in Florida, a hurricane had hit, and our vacation was basically kept indoors for the remainder, as the beaches were now off limits.
Yeah, that's
My parents went to a mall and got a Super Nintendo to give us something to do, which had just come out at the time, and we loved it. Sometime later, my parents brought home Mega Man X1 for Super Nintendo because they recognized the name Mega Man and remembered that I loved the cartoon a lot, and the singular Mega Man action figure that I got from it, which I still have proudly displayed on my desk. I now had a way to interact with Mega Man anytime I wanted, instead of randomly hoping to catch it on TV, long before I understood broadcast.
So he's prefacing essentially the history that he has with Mega Man. I'm gonna be real. My history is not that deep. It's actually, hey, Neil, how you doing? It's not that deep, but I mostly started with the X series. I didn't really do much of the classics per se, and I didn't watch the show until like much later, to be honest with you. So, but in case you didn't know, this guy just maybe, possibly, might like Mega Man. A little teensy bit. But yeah, he's gonna go into this for a bit, and then he's going to get into the video itself. So we're almost done with this part.
Casting schedules. I didn't understand why Mega Man X seemed so different from the cartoon I watched.
Also, in case you're wondering, why do I have like the mouse
until I found
there
out.
and the play button
And
stuff
the rest
there?
is history, as they say.
well,
I've been a hardcore fan of Mega Man.
I'm
ever
more
since.
inclined for
I
you to
grew up
watch
with
the
Mega
video
Man
on your
throughout
own
the 90s,
if you truly
having
want to
been
enjoy
born
the
in
whole
the last
video.
year of the 80s.
You're watching
and
me
I was
react.
fortunate
So.
enough to watch the meteoric rise of my favorite Blue Bomber through
I have
some of the greatest highs the franchise would ever see.
A little tiny hunch.
But where there is a meteoric rise, there is inevitably a meteoric fall, and what I fear to be a Mega Man extinction event.
Oh God. Someday. 2011.
The following is an open letter to Capcom. Let it be known, I have always been a Capcom fan, a diehard one at that. Mega Man was my gateway into this fantastic company that has created some of the best games the video game industry has ever seen, and I'm not even including Street Fighter or Resident Evil in that statement. However, I would be grossly understating my disappointment if I were to leave things at that. I hope, sincerely, that should my words reach...
Man, like, every time I see this game, I get depressed, bro. This game is such a crazy ass game, but it was too ahead of its time, bro. Talking about God Hand. But I will say this. I will absolutely say this. Pay wholeheartedly attention to the tone as the video goes on, because it's a very interesting tone, and I'm definitely going to be covering it and like talking about the way I feel and the way others feel, because I at least personally speaking, I feel a bit different when it comes to Mega Man versus a lot of Mega Man fans, so keep that in mind.
Reach the ears of anybody at Capcom who has the ability to send them up the chain towards people with decision-making
People were
powers
not ready for God
that they
Hand.
act upon them. I don't claim to speak for every single Capcom fan, but I have a strong hunch that what I have to say strongly reflects the sentiments of the majority of Mega Man fans.
Also,
Capcom, we want a new Mega Man game. We are tired of waiting. We are tired of these long stretches of time with absolutely no updates. We are tired of anniversaries coming and going without anything of substance occurring. We are tired of holding on hope for something that is never coming.
okay, so I'm gonna pause it right here. Very nice view. I'm actually gonna do myself a favor and turn this off real quick, and then I'm gonna that way, because I think it's actually a bit intrusive. Yeah, so that's the premise of the video. Is basically he pooted, number one. Number two, he but the thing I wanted to mention, if Twitch is having an issue with streaming, I kind of found a bit of a conspiracy theory-esque reason as to why Twitch is messing up, but YouTube should be ad-free, so you can go ahead and watch it there uninterrupted, just in case. It is there. Keep that in mind. But yeah, so that's the premise of the video. As a Mega Man fan, they haven't said anything. They haven't really done very much with the game. It's been years since there's been much of anything in terms of like an actual full-fledged game, and he's tired. So, I'll go on my opinion about it as time goes on, but that's essentially what he's presenting. And then he's going to talk about covering himself, aka why the rear's up there.
Just to cover my rear end, If a new major Mega Man project gets announced shortly after this gets published, please disregard the remainder of the video. Well, maybe.
I think I have a slight idea of what he wants. A very slight idea of what video he wants, of what game he wants. Very slight idea. Very slight. I think.
Maybe don't. There's still quite a lot that needs to be heard. Nevertheless, Mega Man fans are tired of waiting. On that, I think we can all agree. So if nothing else, I hope at least that much reaches Capcom loud and clear. For anyone eager to add your own comments, I urge you all to please keep it respectful, but be firm. Threats and childish foot stamping would turn away anyone from humoring your demands. From here on out, I'd like to just offer my own opinions. I hope that many of you out there share them with me. If you don't want to hear the entire sappy preamble and just want to skip to my list of demands, skip to the following timestamp. Although, I think hearing everything in full will paint a much fuller picture and can put in perspective exactly why I'm making this urgent call to action.
Yeah, so like I said before, originally I was gonna cut it up, like cut up the intro, things like that, and kind of just go from there and skip around. But I do want to be fair. If I'm gonna critique something, if I'm going to provide commentary of any sort about a video, I should play the whole thing in its entirety. It's only fair. And so another thing you're gonna notice as well is to kind of I don't want to make it seem like I'm leeching off the guy. So you're not gonna see ads on the video itself, and it's not because I have an ad blocker or anything. I don't even know if people even found a good ad blocker, but I have YouTube Premium, so I'm still, even though I'm reacting to him, I'm still giving him the view and the revenue that he does deserve, because he did make the video. It's only fair. So I implore everyone to do the same. It's in the YouTube description, first thing, and I'm also going to provide it in the video as well once it gets to that. So do keep that in mind. Thank you.
This is far more than the average Mega Man fans complain again sort of rant. As I mentioned, I've seen Mega Man explode with popularity and critical acclaim starting in the 90s. Mega Man was already a very strong franchise to begin with before I was even born, but I watched it charge up and blast away with seemingly no way to stop it. Getting a new Mega Man game each Christmas as a child, and then any others upon release with my own money, was always such a great feeling. There came a point in the early 2000s, however, where Mega Man seemingly reached its pinnacle. There were tons of Mega Man games everywhere you looked, and all in such short order. Some might even say that the market was saturated with too much Mega Man, but for me, as a Mega Man fan, I loved it. It felt like...
So, to get to why he is quote-unquote controversial, he's done some things that people didn't agree with, and people formed their opinions on that. He and I, technically speaking, never interacted by any means necessary. The only thing I can really think of is like things that kind of correlate with Shadow Rock, but at the end of the day, I'm my own person. So, but I do have my qualms with him because there was a thing that he did do a while ago that did not sit very well with me, and it was a pretty bad first impression, to say the least. But I'm not going to use that against him in here because, well, that already happened in the past. At the end of the day, I'm here just watching a Mega Man video that he created. I'm going to see what we're going to say about it, and I'm going to be fair, regardless of how I feel. Everyone has their different tolerances and opinions about the guy, but this is not about that. I don't want to even really bring that, but I do want to, at the very least, address that. This is what I will address, though. So, as we know, the 2000s, a lot of Mega Man games came out. A lot. He's gonna put them on the screen in a bit, but a lot of them did come out. And as he stated, he is a fan, and he loves it, because, as any fan of a series would appreciate, if a dev puts out so many games of your favorite franchise, then of course you're gonna be happy, right? Absolutely. And I do feel like I say I'm happy too, because like I love Mega Man, and a bunch of Mega Man games came out. It was pretty great, pretty awesome. However, if I really have to sit there and think about it, and if I have to be as objective as possible, as a fan, absolutely, it was a great thing. But it was also the worst thing that ever happened to Mega Man, in my opinion. That 2000s, when all those Mega Man games just boomed, was the biggest double-edged sword I've ever seen. Especially looking back at it now. At the time, no one ever saw that. No one ever saw it as that. But now, damn, that's bad. And we are 100% facing the repercussions of it. It's pretty rough. But yeah, I cannot in good conscience agree to the fact that that time period was good for Mega Man. In my opinion, it was overall bad. Sure, we got a bunch of games. Sure, we got a bunch of series that we all love and adore and cherish, right? But in doing so, it truly set the road for Mega Man. And that really sucks. And it's why we're here today. So, yeah. I'll elaborate that more as time goes on, because we're going to go back to that sentiment, but we'll see.
Like things couldn't get any better. But then, it did get better. For me personally, anyway. Mega Man Legends 3 was announced. I was so excited. I paid for a plane ticket to fly my best friend in the whole world, known online as Mugen Zero, out to my side of the country, and we both attended New York Comic Con 2010 together to see the Legends 3 panel, and see what exactly they were going to announce for it, as information was very scarce at the time. But before you jump to conclusions that this is just another Mega Man Legends 3 cancellation whining session, I think you'll find it to be very important to understand how we arrived where we are now. This is the nexus point that started it all.
I do want to preface this before I continue. I know people really loved the Legends series, and people were very upset that Legends 3 got canceled. I don't think I made this very public, but at the very same time, I never necessarily denied it either. But I'm going to be honest with you. To this very day, I still don't care about Legends. And I'll go into why I kind of feel that way in terms of Mega Man when we start talking about its oversaturation. But personally speaking, I never really cared about Legends too much because I didn't really play very much. And then we all know it got canceled. I could not really bring myself to be like, I'm sad it happened, but at the very same time, it didn't really affect me very much. To me, it was like, all right, I guess, sure. I just couldn't find I'm not gonna lie to myself and pretend to care. I really didn't. And but it is overall a very sad thing for like a whole like, even though it's not your favorite franchise, but it still sucks because then it kind of created this domino effect of like, where we're at now. So, but yeah, I'm not gonna sit here and pretend like I actually was very sad about this whole thing. People were, and I'm not gonna shit on people for that. Absolutely not. Like, hey, you like your series, I like my series. So, but I do want to preface that because I don't care. Sounds harsh, but I don't.
Before my very eyes, a game I had been waiting 10 years for was finally materializing. I actually left the panel early and ran to the Keiji Inafune autograph signing and prepared my copy of Mega Man X1 to be signed. That game was the true catalyst for my Mega Man obsession, after all.
I am an X-boy. I will say that.
Who helped start it all. For the last 25 years, Inafune had been the figurehead of the Mega Man franchise, guiding it, cultivating it, and generally was responsible for the enormous Mega Man boom in the early 2000s. so I was honored to have him sign my game. I gushed to him and his interpreter about how Mega Man inspired me to try and be a good
I
person,
won't lie, that's pretty
how
cool.
Inafune inspired me to try to get into game development, and a bunch of other mushy stuff that came right from the heart. He seemed very touched at what I had to say. I got a picture with him, I played a demo for Mega Man Universe, and then the rest of Comic-Con was mostly forgotten by me because that was the highlight of my life up to that point. Well, except for a story involving a certain Mega Man fan film and the team behind it who were also there, but that's a story for another time. I still have the copy.
Yeah, he tends to be very opinionated about his stuff, and sometimes it lands him into trouble. I get it. I understand, but some people don't like that. But it is very bizarre to look and think about Inafune, considering the events that occurred, man. Like, holy moly. I do remember this film. I've only ever saw it once, and I legit don't remember. But my god, that was such a long time ago. Kind of the same thing with the. I think they did like a Phoenix Wright film as well. I don't know if it was the same people, but there was another, like I believe it was a fan film of Phoenix Wright, and that was alright as well. But yeah, yeah, Inafune is he's an individual. I don't hate him by any means necessary, but it is very odd to think, considering he was definitely hailed as like the king of games, I guess. And well, look at him now.
Copy of the DVD you guys gave me. Sorry for the things I said. But the very next year, just when my love of Mega Man could not have gotten any bigger, it seemingly touched an instant death spike, and I've honestly never recovered from it. I won't get into all the details of what happened, but the short version is Keiji Inafune resigned, or maybe he was fired, from Capcom, and immediately following his departure, every single Mega Man project in the works at the time was cancelled, including Mega Man Legends 3. I'm not ashamed to admit that I cried on that day. As you all know, if you're a fan of this channel, the lore of Mega Man is my bread and butter, and Legends is the end of the Mega Man timeline. The cancellation of Legends 3, to me at least, felt like a lost chapter of the Epic of Gilgamesh was discovered, and was then suddenly lost in a fire. I'll never know just how this massive story, 30 plus years in the making, ends. But let's say you weren't even a fan of Mega Man Legends. Let's say you're a regular Mega Man fan. The cancellation of Legends 3 wasn't that big of a deal to you, right? Well, my friends, you couldn't have predicted exactly what was to follow. From 2011 to 2018, there were zero, count them, zero new Mega Man games with some
I get it. I get it. I got the joke. But yeah, there's gonna be a point like that's coming up very shortly. I'm gonna like leave it on pause, and I want you to watch the entirety. If I were even gonna play a game, but I'll wait for him to get to that point.
Extremely minor exceptions. For 2011, there were a few mobile releases, like Mega Man Rush Marine, which was an extremely basic shoot-'em-up for phones, and some other niche mobile games.
I love
2012
schmucks.
saw Street Fighter X Mega Man, which was actually just a fan game that Capcom officially licensed.
This, to me, is still the funniest thing Capcom's ever done. Some dudes literally were like, we're gonna make a funny fan game. And Capcom's like, you know what? Great! We don't got shit anyways. Let's just slap our name on it and promote that shit. Yeah. We care. We care about me. It was so nuts, man. Oh my gosh. That's funny. I mean, to be fair, like, it's better to slap your name there than to be like, take that shit down. Can't, like, no. Take it down. Like, stop that. It's so funny, dude. Like, I was like, oh my god, this was insane, dude. Oh man, I'm pretty sure it's still free out there to play, right? I'm not crazy, right? Pretty sure it is. All right, I'm gonna continue, but oh my god, comedy gold, Capcom.
2015 gave us the first Legacy collections for Mega Man Classic. 2017 gave us Mega Man 1 through 6 on mobile phones. And that was basically it. You can go to the list of Mega Man video games article on Wikipedia and see whatever I left out. But the main point I'm getting across is this. For 8 entire years, there were no new Mega Man games. Only ports, collections.
I think I found his favorite type of game, you guys. I think.
A fan game, and some mobile phone trash.
I have a hunch.
There wasn't even the plethora of model kits we have to enjoy nowadays. In comparison, here's what else Capcom released from 2010 to 2018, not counting collections.
All right, let's play a game. Let's play a game, you guys. Guess how many games he's going to name. I'm going to assume I counted correctly. But guess the number of games that he's going to list. Whoever's the closest, I'll give you a free sub or membership on YouTube. Oh, actually, no, I can't. I'll have to do the membership later because I haven't done that just yet. But if you accurately guess it, I'll give you like a free sub. But keep in mind, he's talking about any Capcom game that came out during that period. That's not Mega Man. I'm going to play it in its entirety. I'm going to let you guys guess. And then we'll see who's closest. All right. And also, the more important thing, besides that, the other thing I also want you guys to pay attention to is listen to his tone as he lists the games. Let's go.
I've tried to keep these in their general chronological release order, so feel free to visit the Giant Bomb page I got this information from to see for yourself. I have left out certain titles for brevity, as they are Capcom published but not necessarily Capcom intellectual properties. 2010, Tatsunoko vs. Capcom Ultimate All-Stars, Street Fighter 4, Lost Planet 2, Ghost Trick, Ghosts and Goblins, Gold Knights 2, Monster Hunter Diary, Dead Rising 2, Dead Rising 2 Case Zero, Sengoku Basara, Monster Hunter Portable 3rd, Dead Rising for iOS, Dead Rising 2 Case West. 2011, Bionic Commando Rearmed 2, Marvel vs. Capcom 3, Okamiden, Resident Evil The Mercenaries 3D, Resident Evil The Mercenaries Versus, Monster Hunter Dynamic Hunting, Street Fighter 4 Volt, Sengoku Basara Chronicles Heroes, Monster Hunter Diary Poke Poke Airu Village G, Resident Evil Revival Selection, Dead Rising 2 Off the Record, Sengoku Basara 3 Utage, Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3, Monster Hunter 3 Ultimate. 2012, Resident Evil Revelations, Ashura's Wrath, Street Fighter X Tekken, Resident Evil Operation Raccoon City, Dragon's Dogma, Onimusha Soul, Pazuru in Airao, Resident Evil 6, EX Troopers, Dead Rising The Survival. 2013, DMC Devil May Cry, Monster Hunter Frontier G, Dragon's Dogma Dark Arisen, Remember Me, Dungeons & Dragons Chronicles of Mystara, Monster Hunter Frontier G2, Dragon's Dogma Quest, Phoenix Wright Dual Destinies, Lost Planet 3, Pachislot Biohazard 5, Monster Hunter Frontier G3, Street Fighter X All Capcom, Dead Rising 3, Geist Crusher, Monster Hunter 4, 2014, Sengoku Basara 4, Strider, Ultra Street Fighter 4, Monster Hunter Frontier GG, Street Fighter 4 Arena, Monster Hunter Frontier G5, Geist Crusher God, Street Fighter Puzzle Spirits, Breath of Fire 6, Monster Hunter 4 Ultimate, 2015, Resident Evil Revelations 2, Street Fighter Battle Combination, Devil May Cry 4 Special Edition, The Great Ace Attorney Adventures, Sengoku Basara 4 Sumeragi, Dragon's Dogma Online, Monster Hunter Explore, Monster Hunter Generations, Monster Hunter Online, 2016, Street Fighter 5, Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney Spirit of Justice, Umbrella Corps, Sengoku Basara Sanada Yukimura Den, Monster Hunter Stories, Dead Rising 4, 2017, Resident Evil 7, Monster Hunter Generations Ultimate, Ultra Street Fighter 2, The Final Challengers, Street Fighter 4 Champion Edition, The Great Ace Attorney 2 Resolve, Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite, Puzzle Fighter, 2018, Monster Hunter World. Let's tally that up. Street Fighter, approximately 11.
Before we get to the actual game series titles, if your guess was, assuming my count is correct, 84 games, well, congratulations, you won. But he did seem to have counted games that even like they even though they never ported to America, he counted those games. But 84 games, my dudes. Holy, I was like, oh my god, that's a lot. Because I actually sat there and like counted each year and then counted it up and tallied it up. Fun fact, the most was 2013 at 15 Capcom games. But if you paid attention to the tone, Son Angel, you got it right. Your boy didn't seem very happy. He got quite, yeah. And I get it. To see all those games come out, meanwhile, your favorite series has not even been touched. It sucks a lot. I will add one thing, though. Sure, a bunch of those games did come out and whatnot and things like that. Keep in mind, though, Capcom themselves weren't doing so hot either. So even though you see all these games come out, and even though like it seems like very monumental and things like it seems like very huge, Capcom, they were not those guys. They were not them. They were struggling at a certain point. And ooh. Case in point, Resident Evil 6. Great logo, by the way. But yeah, I'm gonna unpause because you're gonna go over like the three main titles, which maybe you can probably guess which series he truly hates the most, just by tone. I'm just saying.
Street Fighter franchise games, 5 more if you count the Marvel vs. series, for a total of 16 Street Fighter or fighting game games. And that's not even counting the collections that released. Resident Evil, 9 Resident Evil games, again, not counting collections. Monster Hunter, the most egregious offender, with a whopping 19 entries made up of new games and expansions to existing ones. Let's outline what new and original games released for Mega Man, again, not counting collections. In 2010, we got Mega Man 10. In 2012, we got Street Fighter X Mega Man and Rockman Crossover. And that's it. At least until 2018, when Mega Man 11 finally released. To put that in perspective for you, that means after Mega Man 10, the only new Mega Man content to release was an officially licensed fan game that Capcom instead spun as an anniversary celebration for Street Fighter that, I must stress, they themselves did not develop. And a really terrible Japanese exclusive mobile game that is universally panned for being low effort and bad. Besides those two.
So I'm gonna be honest with you. I have zero knowledge, zero recollection towards Rockman Crossover. I just heard of it, and I've seen that design with the floof on his shoulders and whatnot. But otherwise, I never really did very. I never really cared, to be honest. I don't know. But I mean, I've never heard anything positive about it, so you guys tell me. Yeah, like, I get it, right? But there's a reason why in Japan there's a Rathalos statue. I'm just saying. Japan loves their Monster Hunter. I should also mention too about Monster Hunter. Monster Hunter was not always very popular here in the West. In fact, it took quite a long time for Monster Hunter to really pick up steam until eventually it is now what it is, where it's like this behemoth of a game. But way back when, like, I got into Monster Hunter in Monster Hunter Tri 3, the one in the Wii, and it was like you had like a very small fan base in the West, but it was mostly all in the East. I forgot the name of the campaign, but I remember there was a campaign to bring over Portable Third, or what, another one of those games, and then eventually they started bringing Monster Hunter. They started going into it. Like, I think Tri got an updated version called 3U, and then they brought it over 4U, Generation, so on and so forth. So at that point, they were touching their toes when it came to Monster Hunter. But yeah, it took a while for Monster Hunter to get to where it's at. So, you know, that is a thing. Also, Resident Evil, people just love Resident Evil. Like, Resident Evil 4 was a godsend to people. And to this very day, people still love Resident Evil Remake, the OG. They still love that game. Even though that game came out on the GameCube, still love it to this very day. Not to mention that game and Resident Evil 4 kept getting ported to all these goddamn series. I mean, all these consoles that, well, yeah, no wonder they have so many sales. But yeah, I'm gonna keep going. But yeah, you'll like World. I'll get to that later.
2 games, the only thing keeping Mega Man afloat were legacy collections. Not counting Mega Man 10, which I used as my starting point, we got 2 no-effort games on Capcom's part across 8 years, while Street Fighter, Resident Evil, and Monster Hunter got 16, 9, and 19 respectively, including new releases and expansions to existing games.
True.
Just for fun, here's a list of all the Mega Man games that were cancelled between 2010 and 2018. Mega Man Legends 3, Mega Man Universe, Rockman Online, Maverick Hunter, Mega Man...
Man. I mean, I paused it at a bad time, but it's also a good time too, because this is another one Doug goes. He counted those in Street Fighter, so 11 Street Fighter, but plus those 16. Just to preface, he did kind of put the two like separate but together at the same time. If that makes sense. But yeah, we could have had a hell of a great Maverick Hunter, Mega Man next game, and of course Star Force 4. But you know, don't look up the sales for Star Force 3. That's what I'm going to tell you. Unless you want to break your heart, then by all means go right ahead.
And Star Force 4 and Mega Man ZXC. That's 6 canceled games versus the 2 that we actually got, and both of them were either low to no effort releases for Capcom, and that is only counting the canceled games that we know of. For all we know, there's even more. We didn't even know about Mega Man Star Force 4 and the 3rd ZX game until years after they were canceled. I have to be honest with you. During this time period, I grew to resent and even hate Capcom. I had been a loyal customer for years.
I forget
literally since I was old enough to comprehend what video games were. I gave them countless hours of my life and hard-earned dollars, formative years of my childhood, and now, for the last 8 years, I got nothing in return. I was bitter for a long time. For 8 straight years, I was bitter for what they had done in 2011 and the following years. Just sitting there watching as Protodude reported on each new cancelled project discovered. Mega Man Legends 3, Mega Man Universe, Rockman Online, Maverick Hunter, and even more Mega Man games were cancelled that we wouldn't even learn about until years later. As a Mega Man fan, there was literally no reason to be happy anymore. There was the occasional new merchandise, and I guess the Legacy Collection was a good idea, even though Capcom had to be convinced.
Listen, them collections seems like an easy cash grab. They did God's work. I'm just saying. But I do understand why people are annoyed at the collections, though. Mostly because it's like, oh, you're just bringing the old games to newer platforms. And that's why I like it a lot, to be honest with you. To me, anytime they did collections, it was more so, okay, cool, I no longer have to yank out my NES or whatever, or Super NES. I can literally just play my game on like your current console. And that's why I loved it, because it's like, I don't want to get that stuff out. And I sure as hell didn't buy the mobile games. Oh hell no. I'm talking about like the mobile 1 through 6 and X and things like that. But yeah. I mean, he does mention that the collection was the reason why Mega Man 11 was the thing, but I didn't mind it. You may not have you don't have to really care, to be honest with you, but at the very same time, regardless of what you think, I mean, they did God's work. They definitely are the reasons why we even got something. But we'll go over. We'll say a bit more after that.
To make it, yeah, go look up that story one day when you have the time. The box for my Mega Man X D-Arts figure even still has a logo and website listed for the Legends 3 dev room on the inside.
I wonder how much it's
worth. Some of the
worth.
only surviving physical proof that it even ever existed, now that Capcom has taken down that entire forum. Every single piece of news, new piece of evidence, new cancelled game reveal, each passing anniversary with nothing happening, all led fans to believe that Capcom not only didn't care about Mega Man or the fans, but that they were actively working against them. Each year lacking any news honestly felt like a middle finger to an otherwise dedicated and loyal fan base. And then, something amazing happened. Deep within the gallery mode for the Legacy Collection for Classic Mega Man, some artwork of Mega Man wearing some sort of strange armor popped up.
Dude, this was literally those you had to be there moments. I listen. I'm also going to say, I'm happy that Mega Man 11 is a thing, came out. I'm going to be real with you. I am not a big fan of when it comes to even giving love, or like in at least to Capcom, in order for them to even be convinced of like maybe like how should we go about making a game, it always seems like they resort to the classics. I was never a big fan of that. Not to say I don't like the classic series. It's just it's not like my favorite series. Now I'm selfish. I'm like, bro, where's my X, bro? Where's my Battle Network, bro? Hell, where's my Star Force, bro? Although I know why that didn't do, but but at the very end of the day, you kind of have to be happy overall that they're even looking at the freaking thing to begin with. But this came out, dude. The tinfoil hats came on. The magnifying glasses came out, bro. We're like, where did this come from? Oh my, what? Oh my god, there's a new Mega Man game on the horizon. Oh, dude, that's just some canceled bullshit that didn't use. There was so much talks, dude. I can tell you outright, when it came, I can testify, when it came to that admin chat or staff chat and Shadow Rock server, God, it was alive. It was insane. And then, the events kind of unfold, and I'll let him talk about that.
Seemingly as some sort of boss weapon.
There we go, you dumb.
The only problem is that it wasn't from the game it was listed under in the gallery. In fact, it wasn't from any game anyone had seen before. The designs, the art style, everything seemed like this was a new piece of concept art. And yet, because of the 8 years of passive abuse Capcom subjected us to, literally nobody could believe it was an Easter egg for a new Mega Man game that Capcom put in there for us to find. In fact, people at the time speculated that it was actually from an already cancelled game, and Capcom simply mistakenly placed it into the gallery mode for the Legacy Collection. That is how little faith people had in Capcom.
Guys, are we really that punished to the point where if we even get a crumb, we're like, nah, bro, that's just deleted footage, bro. Oh my god. I mean, I don't blame people for thinking. I mean, I'll be real. I wouldn't think that this is like. I have to give Capcom credit, right? Capcom, there's so many problems with Capcom, it's not even funny. I have so many issues when it comes to Capcom. Not even just on the Mega Man side, and like on its whole thing. But I will say, this is probably like the biggest brain move they've ever done. Just put the art in the collection and just make people talk and make people lose their minds. And that's precisely what happened. People lost their minds. It was crazy. It's like, oh, there's a new Mega Man. No, you're crazy. You're stupid. You're dumb. What are you stupid? There ain't gonna be no new game. Idiots. And well, yeah. Little do we know.
We were all so beaten and battered that even when Capcom is shoving official art for a new game that we had never seen before right in our faces, our first assumption was that it was from an already canceled game and was included by accident. That's abysmal. This was the absolute rock bottom for Mega Man.
Guys. Now, I know we know the games came out, but how pissed would you be if, let's just pretend we're back at this timeline. We just see this piece of art and we're losing our minds. How pissed would you be if nothing came from this? Like, Capcom literally just said, oh shit, they were never supposed to see that, and then just nothing happened. How pissed would you be? Although it's kind of hard to pretend how pissed you'd be if, you know, it just, you know what I mean. But hypothetically speaking, you know, like it's crazy to think about. Just imagine, like, this just didn't happen. That's nuts. That's crazy to think about, man. But God, we didn't live in that timeline.
But to everyone's astonishment, it wasn't a ruse. It was real. It was an actual Easter egg for Mega Man 11, which later came out in 2018. During this time, I had just started my channel, REVO, and Mega Man 11 was literally announced while I was editing Timeskimmer Episode 2, forcing me to go back and make up an excuse about why it wouldn't be included in my comprehensive timeline video series, because it was literally history in the making, and the timeline that I understood up to that point was about to completely change. Mega Man 11 came out and would go on to be one of the best-selling Mega Man games of all time. Mega Man was back, and we all collectively cheered for the triumphant return. A ton of Legacy collections were then...
I don't know if you remember, but when that stream was going on, when they had the anniversary stream, and then they had like that animation cartoon thing of like 8-bit Mega Man just kind of going through the different games and whatnot, and then like through the years, and when he got to like 2011, and just there was just nothing, that giant ass gap. I still remember laughing my ass off when that happened, because it's like, damn, bro, there was just nothing. And even though 11 wasn't like the game that I wanted, it's still a pretty fucking cool thing. It's like, wow, not only did they make a new game, but it looks really nice. I mean, look at it. Look at that shit. Just great. Not to mention, it's like, you know, I'll go into that later.
And announced in the years following, the X Legacy Collections, Zero and
Yep.
ZX Legacy Collection, Battle Network Legacy Collections, all of which brought these games to modern consoles and PC, which goes a long way towards preserving them, as without these collections, you'd have to buy a decades-old console to play most of them. We were on a roll. There was no way you could stop the momentum of this hype train. Not only was Mega Man back, but Capcom had a new guy in the captain's chair for Mega Man, Kazuhiro Tsuchiya, making bold promises that Mega Man was back, here to stay, and they recognized that there were fans for all kinds of Mega Man and they had plans to please them all.
Yeah.
2019 came and went with nothing new, but we were so happy about Mega Man 11 that we didn't care. With the steady release of legacy collections and merchandise, we were all sure that Mega Man was back for good. In 2020, Mega Man X-Dive would be released and would actually turn out to be a massive love letter to the Mega Man franchise.
Boy,
We
was
were all a bit
it.
bummed out that it was another mobile game instead of a full release, and it had gacha game elements, which are generally considered to be very predatory.
Ah, yes, Mega Man's first introduction to gotcha, baby. Now, to put this in perspective, I've already delved into Fire Emblem Heroes, and I was into a lot of the gacha games at the time. So this was nothing new to me. So when I learned that they're making a gacha game for Mega Man X, you bet your ass I was excited. Oh, baby, I was happy. And then we know how that went. We'll get to that later.
But in spite of everything working against it, X-Dive was a unifying game in the franchise for most. Every single sub-series got some sort of attention. The game was called X-Dive, but like the X in Mega Man X, it must have stood for infinite potential. It could be anything. Classic, X, Zero, ZX, Legends, Battle Network, and even a little Star Force got some representation. It was the first time in nearly a decade that we were seeing actual effort going into the Mega Man franchise, and while that effort was much appreciated, there was an uncomfortable question hanging over the entire community's head. So when are we getting an actual new game?
Hello, it's right there. It's called Mega Man X Dive. Duh, stupid. Like, what are you dumb? I'm sorry. Man, can you imagine having to look and think, dude, the success, the Mega Man's life is literally in the hands of a gacha game, bro. Oh man, dude, if that's not a monkey's paw position wish, oh jeez, oh boy, baby. But yeah, like, ooh, and then like when the game did come out, and then we kind of got the feel of how Captai was. Damn, son. Oh my god, bro. Oh man. But here's the thing, right? Regardless of what you think of gacha games, regardless of what you think of Mega Man X Dive or Rockman X Dive, regardless of the fact, you know, this game made a lot of money. Maybe not all the money in the world, but it did make a lot of money. Maybe to kind of sort of maybe convince Capcom, like, you know what? It's alright. But regardless of what you think of how you think of the gacha games and whatnot, it did a service to Mega Man. You know? It brought interest. It definitely put eyes on things. And to this very day, Mega Man isn't necessarily dead. It's just kind of there, you know? Basically. Yeah, I spent about I think I have to look back at the chart, but I do believe it was around 3K. Like I dropped 3K in dive. So I mean, that's 3K that went to Capcom's wallet that was not going there for the past 8 years. So but yeah, it's like damn, man. And also, and I'll get more into how people think Mega Man is dead. Have you met Darkstalkers? And actually, it's one of my best friend's favorite game series. And in fact, I am ashamed to admit that I had to remind myself that this series existed. But have you met Dino Crisis? They're suffering right now. Although they got something, in a sense. Kinda. We'll get into that in a bit.
It's January 2024.
I had to remember Dino
It has
Crisis
been 5
exists,
years
dude.
since Mega Man 11 was released. Xdive has shut down their primary servers and mercifully released the game on Steam in an offline mode for people to enjoy in perpetuity, minus the online.
Dude, Lost Planet is a goddamn tragedy, man. Like, Lost Planet, like, I liked 1, and 2 was like, I wish I got into 2, but unfortunately I never got Lost Planet 2, but I heard the multiplayer was legendary. But, give credit where credit is due. Rocketman X Dive offline is something that most gacha games don't ever get treatment for. Anytime a game EOS's, that's about it. It's done. It's gone. Unless fans somehow manage to bring it back and like have like a fan server or something, it's gone. It's completely just in the vault. There have only been a very few amount of games that has ever done that to come back officially in some capacity. And the fact that Capcom was willing to bring back this gacha game into like an offline playable version of it, and you can say whatever you want about charging the $30. I think that's a fucking steal, in my opinion. Especially now with all these mods. They're adding a goddamn Digimon to this game now. By the way. That's insane. But that's besides the point. But you just do not. That's unheard of. It's insane that a gacha game came back. And to be perfectly honest with you, the gacha, like the Mega Man X Dive, it's not the worst. It's not the best. But it's not the worst either. Like it's a fine serviceable game. What really absolutely made it shit and people poop caca was the net play, was the balancing. Basically the PvP. That whole side, and of course the gacha. But once you take that out, it's just a game that has a lot of shit to do. And that's respectable. I still have to buy this. I haven't bought it yet, but I'm going to. I'm definitely going to. Because I want to play it. Not to mention all those cool ass mods. But regardless of how many times I shit on Capcom, and I'm still going to, by the way. I absolutely will shit on Capcom. All the time. I cannot deny the fact that yeah, this is definitely a good move. Which, by the way, may not have happened if people didn't like Mega Man like that. I'm gonna be honest. If Mega Man wasn't that loved, if they didn't care about Mega Man that much, I'm pretty sure Dive wouldn't be around. But I can't say that, mostly because I'm not Capcom. I'm just some dude watching some dude's video. So, you know, take what we will.
Online features of the game. While the collections released so far and Xdive were much appreciated, there has still not been a new Mega Man game since Mega Man 11. The last game before that was Mega Man 10 in 2010. To refresh,
That's
for
still
those
funny,
who
by
might
the
have
way.
skipped here, from 2010 to 2023, not including collections, the only new Mega Man content across a 13-year period was Mega Man 10, Rockman Crossover, Street Fighter X Mega Man, X Dive, and finally, Mega Man 11. Over a 13-year period, there has been 5 new releases versus 6 canceled Mega Man projects that we know of, which doesn't even break even, and only 2 of them are actual mainline releases. Crossover was a low-effort flash game for mobile phones, and Street Fighter X Mega Man was not even developed by Capcom. Over that
That's
same
still funny.
13-year period, not including collections, there have been 18 Street Fighter and Crossover releases or updated editions, 15 Resident Evil releases or updated editions, and 22 Monster Hunter releases, with a new Monster Hunter on the way projected for 2025.
Yeah! Sorry.
I'm going to put these numbers next to each other so you can visually understand the disparity. Every single year, people have asked for a new entry in the series. Important milestone anniversaries came and went. The 35th anniversary for the Mega Man franchise as a whole occurred in 2022. No game was announced. No new manga, no new animation projects, no new books, no new anything. Unlike the boom in promotional media contemporaries like Sonic the Hedgehog were, and are continuing to enjoy. The only major releases for the franchise after Mega Man 11, besides Legacy collections, have been model kits, various selections of merchandise.
Alright, listen. I didn't know this existed. Okay. I kind of want some of these. Okay. I'm gonna let him talk a little bit more, and then I'm gonna talk about my whole criticisms and whatnot with Capcom themselves. So we'll wait a bit.
And clothing, all of which the Mega Man intellectual property were sorely lacking in previously, and are very welcome additions.
Guys, I kind of want those Zero in Pieces enamel pins. Look, he's in pieces, bro. Look at him.
But still, the question remains, when are we getting an actual new game? And that leads us to today. All
right, so I'm gonna talk about Capcom. I'm gonna talk about my how I truly feel about Capcom. And in my opinion, Capcom's biggest issue is that these fuckers play too goddamn safe. Too safe. At this point, I kind of feel like they could maybe do a game. Maybe. Possibly. But at the same time, you know, I'm not going to pull up all the sales, right? But if you go back and look at all those Mega Man games that came out in the 2000s, and you look at those sales, some are impressive. Might go by number 4. Staying at the top. And your face by number 3. But, jokes aside. Some games did pretty well. And other games, holy shit, that's insane. So, to essentially talk to Capcom now, and I'm just gonna pretend I'm Capcom Coon, you know, I'm just some guy in Capcom. It's like, hey guys, can we make a Mega Man game? I can only imagine what a monumental task that has to be to convince Capcom to make something new. Merchandising's not that hard, unfortunately. At least not as hard as selling a game. You can sell figures. To be honest, it doesn't even cost very much to do things like that. Pens, whatever, that sort of thing. Doesn't cost very much. But when it comes to like games and whatnot, it's a really hard, tall ask. So at the one end, I don't blame them for being extremely safe with Mega Man, because they literally got completely burned on that aspect. But the question does come up as to like, why do they always concentrate on Mega Man? I'm sorry. Why do they concentrate on Monster Hunter? Why do they concentrate on Street Fighter? Why do they concentrate on Resident Evil? I'm gonna minimize this for a second. I pulled up two things. Number one, a very simplified top 10 best-selling games in the series. I believe these are in the millions units. Okay? Look at Mega Man, and then look at Resident Evil. I guarantee you, if you were to talk to Capcom and if you had that power to convince them, hey, let's make a game, I guarantee you, you will have a much easier time convincing them to make a Resident Evil game than a Mega Man game. Okay? I watched Shadowrock's video. I may or may not review that later. Although, to be honest, most of my stuff, I'm in agreement with him. With the exception of some parts. But the one thing I did want to show, that he showed off in his video. If you ever want to know, if you truly just want to see the numbers outright, why don't they make a Mega Man game? And why do they keep making Resident Evil games? Resident Evil in general has 170 titles. Mega Man has 169 titles. But Mega Man's only really sold 41 million units. I should preface, the numbers calculated are in millions. So Mega Man's only really sold 41 million. Meanwhile, Resident Evil triples that. And then some. Yeah. I can see why they're making Resident Evil over Mega Man. I'm gonna be perfectly fair here. Like, no shit. But I'm gonna be fair. I'm gonna give some positivity to this. At the very least, he's top 4. That's still a pretty fucking good number right here, right? Dragon's Dogma wish they were Mega Man right now. But, hey, 41 million? May not be very much, but it's still a lot, you know? And is Mega Man, the question is Mega Man dead? No, it's not. It might feel that way. I think a good comparison is whenever you see the temperature on your phone, it says it's like 85 degrees, but it feels like 100 degrees. It's kind of like that. Mega Man is not dead, but it sure as hell feels like it's dead. Because there's just really nothing. It's just kind of in that merch line. It's just kind of there. You know, just toys and shit. And then, like, it's appearing in other games here and there. It's got, like, very funny crossovers like Encompass and Teppen, even though that's their own thing. And then, of course, the collections, of course, you know. Hey! It's still a thing around. In fact, the Legacy Collection, instead of just porting those games willy-nilly and doing whatever, they actually put an effort. So they do care. They do. It may not seem like it. It may not be that new game that you want, because I want an X game. I want a Star First game. But hey, they're doing something. So I objectively speaking, it's not dead. It just isn't. That's a stupid thing to say. I like to poke fun at Mega Doomers, and I like to be a Mega Doomer here and there, but as a joke. Truth be told, I don't think Mega Man's dead. I do have a I wouldn't say a new take, but I think a more clarified take of how I see Capcom. And I'll go into that in a bit, but the fact that these guys are still doing something, and not to mention that Legacy Collection Battle Network sold a fucking lot. Now, granted, the individual sales of the volumes, I don't really think they did that math, but hey, that fucking collection did numbers. It may have done like multi-million numbers, but it did numbers. So, at the very least, Capcom may not be absolutely convinced, but I would at the very least like to think it's on their mind still in some way, shape, or form. Now, obviously, we don't really know if something's coming up. In fact, he's going to mention something that did come up, but we'll get into that whole thing there. But overall, I will say Capcom does play extremely safe. They need to take some goddamn risks, but I also don't blame them for not taking these risks because, you know. So I mean, that's why we're here to begin with. So yeah, that makes sense. Okay, we're gonna get back to the video now.
Writing this script on December 18th, 2023, a day after the 36th anniversary for the Mega Man franchise, and coincidentally...
Actually, I just remembered, there's another big criticism I have with Capcom. These motherfuckers! At least say something. Please. Say anything. Anything. I do understand the sentiment of, like, not hearing much of anything, and that does suck a lot. But, I mean, me personally speaking, I'm not going to let it hurt me very much. Mostly because, I mean, I'll get into my entire mentality of Capcom and how I feel about it at a later point. But, at this point, I'm just kind of at that point where it's like, if something comes, something comes. But I'm not holding my breath type deal. But I do think, yeah, maybe you should say something. Anything. Just say something. Just throw a little party popper, you know. Just like, that's all. This is for Mega Man, guys. That's it. But, you know, we'll see. Unfortunately, John, not everyone has your patience. As we are witnessing in this 57-minute and 40-second medium.
The anniversary of the Legends series, and there is still no new game in sight. I guess Capcom was just too busy jumping aboard the dying NFT train. This is the Mega Man content we've all wanted.
The second funniest things Capcom has ever done. I still think the taking a fan game and slapping their name on it is the funniest thing they've ever done. This is the second funniest thing they've ever done. Why? Sorry.
Right? In fact, Kazuhiro Tsuchiya, in May of 2023, just a few short years after sitting in the captain's seat for Mega Man, resigned from Capcom, leaving the franchise without leadership once again.
Yeah, this, oh no, Mega Sisters, Mega Bros, oh dear, guys. I will say, this does not help, their case. If anything, this kind of bolsters the Mega Doomers case. I can kind of see that. Okay. This isn't a good look, but relax, calm down. Take a chill pill. It ain't that bad. I say behind like a cage, away from the Mega fans.
This is especially worrying, given that Tsuchiya-san attributed the lack of Mega Man games in the wake of Inafune.
Thank you. Oh shit! It did what it did. The very bad thing I didn't want it to do. It was like, actually, wait. I have a timestamp here.
Without getting.
Oh, so awesome! Thank God for timestamps. We are going to 24:59. So good. Hey, that's spoilers. Don't look at that. There we go. We're back to where we're at.
After sitting in the captain's seat for Mega Man, resigned from Capcom, leaving the franchise without leadership once again. This is especially worrying, given that Tsuchiya-san attributed the lack of Mega Man games in the wake of Inafune's departure to the fact that Mega Man lacked anyone in the leadership role to direct the franchise like Inafune once did. He says that Inafune left big shoes to fill, and with him gone, nobody felt they were capable of being the Mega Man guy like he was.
I can only assume I'm taking a very, very educated, but probably very, very incorrect guess that at least Inafune had some sway and some influence. And then once he either left or got fired, I legit don't know, nor do I care. I slightly care, but I can only assume that even though he took the god damn it. It's sex based. Oh, thank you. I can only assume that they basically look at Tsuchiya and was like, okay, in terms of Mega Man, you're not an Inafune. You don't have the sway in terms of Mega Man. So I'm going to assume that anytime he wanted to do something for Mega Man, something significant for Mega Man, he got quite a lot of resistance. And then he did mention it here, but he did help direct Street Fighter, was it 6? And yeah. I guess he just didn't want to take it. I don't know. But that's just an educated guess. I'm just some dude. I don't know. I'm just some guy. But that's my guess. It's like he tried to do something, but a lot of resistance came to be, and maybe he just got tired of it. I don't know. And I'm pretty sure telling people, hey guys, we're going to bring back Mega Man. Big promise, big trust. And then being told, all right, listen, Mega Man's cool and all, but that Street Fighter 6 thing, guy, go direct that shit. We need Cammy's yoga pants to be as tight as humanly possible. I need you to go help that right now immediately. And he probably was like, yeah, I don't know. We'll see though. But I'll continue.
So with Tsuchiya-san gone, we're right back where we started in 2010. Some people say Capcom doesn't care about Mega Man because it isn't as popular as their other games. That's cyclical logic. Capcom doesn't care about Mega Man because it's not popular enough. It's not popular enough because Capcom doesn't care about Mega Man. You can't make Mega Man more popular if you never even make more Mega Man games. If Mega Man got the same attention and care that Street Fighter, Monster Hunter, and Resident Evil did, it might be able to actually contend with them.
So, I mean, there's a point. It's like, well, how do you know people aren't interested in Mega Man if you don't make something for Mega Man? That's a fair point. You know, you should maybe put something on the table, and maybe then people might care. But then it goes back to the whole double-edged sword in 2000. That giant mess there that they basically shotgunned all those games. Like, they literally just took a shotgun shell, shot all them pellets, and then we just got all those games. And yeah, it's like, yeah, I kind of don't blame them for not wanting to make a game. Duh. Like, do you not remember what happened all those years ago, bro? Like, some of those games might have been fine, but most of those were not. And listen, bro, shit's expensive these days. And I hate to be the bearer of reality here, but at the end of the day, Capcom's a business. What do businesses want to do? Make money. And again, they have a very hard time being convinced that maybe we can make money with Mega Man. If I had if you have it, send it to me, and I'll put it up. I don't have that. But it's like, because I thought he did it, but maybe I was wrong. But yeah, it's like, just to give you an example, guys. I call Mega Man Battle Network the Miracle Game because one is a goddamn travesty. it's a fucking miracle that game even got that many games, and is considered to be like one of the best of all Mega Mans. One was awful. It was awful. But do you know why that game stuck around? Because they had 1 and 2 come out in the same year. That shit's fucking crazy. That's insane. How does that work? How the fuck do you create a whole new series for your franchise and then months later put out the sequel? The sequel that most people, myself included, to be really fucking good. And it's why Battle Network is on the map. Sure as hell wasn't one, I'll tell you that much. But yeah, it's like there's just so much. Oh god. But yeah, so his whole thing of like, oh, just make a Mega Man game to not, we'll definitely buy it. Well, yeah, not everyone's gonna buy it. And I actually do have a story, truth be told. Oh, thank you. Oh, I guess I have to do it here. Was it only one image, or is it the entirety? Because it only opened up one image for me. Yeah. Oh wait, it's a bunch of links. Okay, I see what happened. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna click on this. I'm gonna minimize this real quick. Cool. So I'm gonna start one. Oh, why did it? Oh, right. Oh, it's not gonna. Oh, actually, will it? Yes, it will. All right. So, can we get it to come here? All right, and then we'll put it in order afterwards. So I think it is in order. All right, so 2002. Actually, it is in order. 2002. These two fucker came out. Right? That's normal. It's alright. It's okay. Sure. What the fuck is this? What the fuck is this? There's the December, and then months later, the other version, and then months later, the sequel. What the fuck? I'm only going to concentrate on Battle Network, but it's kind of the same ordeal with these others. And by the way, this masterpiece came out to quell satiate the hunger of the Battle Network fans until the greatest of all time coming out. I'm just saying. But then look at 2004. Bro, it's only been a year. What the fuck, dude? And then look at 02, 2003, 2004, 2002. And what is this? What is this? December? February? Then November? That just doesn't happen, dude. Oh, and we also got like a DS port. That just doesn't happen, dude. That's crazy. That means that these goddamn games were just shot out. Or shotgunned, as I said. They literally just took a shotgun, just shot on the wall, and we got all of this. We got all of this, bros. That's crazy. That's a lot. Not many series or franchises can say they get this. Capcom, they just shit these things out, and somehow, I mean, it didn't make it work because the 8 years, oops. And not only that, but they kind of did the same thing, sort of, with like the other series as well. Like Monster Hunter definitely got this. In my opinion, before World, I treated Monster Hunter like Pokemon. Like it was like the same thing. It had like a spice here and there, like with a new mechanic, just like Pokemon. But at the very end of the day, it was the same game. Nothing changed. It was whatever. And then Resident Evil. yeah, so yeah, Capcom's kind of nuts, but this is why there is no new Mega Man game as of yet. Because you have to basically convince them that, hey guys, this won't happen again. And they're like, yeah? I need some hard facts, bro. And that's hard to prove when all of this happened. Again, for the fans, fucking goated. But business-wise, it really did more damage than good, in my opinion. Holy moly. Now let's look at this baby. Actually, why is there a baby here? We'll find out.
I'm not saying that we should go back to 2010 where we had too much Mega Man all at once, but a similar release frequency to Street Fighter and its updated editions, and at least half the effort, would probably carry the franchise pretty far. Because people don't buy it enough isn't an excuse if there's no new games to buy. This is also cyclical logic. You can't support a franchise.
I am gonna talk about, in my opinion, Mega Man's biggest weakness. And that is there are too many games in that franchise. And I don't mean like there's like 6 battle networks and things like no. I mean like there's so much division in Mega Man. Like first you just had a classic, and then you had X, which was manageable. It was fine. It was okay. But now you're like, all right, guys, here's Legends. All right, guys, here's Battle Network. All right, guys, here's Zero. All right, guys, there's Star Force. All right, guys. I'm having a brain fart. ZX. There we go. So when a person, a casual audience, just some dude comes into this franchise and they look at Mega Man, it's like, where do I begin? They're gonna look at Mega Man as a whole and be like, where the fuck do I begin? Do all these games have something in common? Are they all linked in some way, shape, or form? Because when they see that amount of games and then that amount of like division, it's like, what do I do? It was so overwhelming. It's like, and not to mention, it created such a division that some people, and I'm guilty of this, but some people just don't give others a shot when they like their own. Like, I'm an X boy. I'm an X guy. I'm an X guy. I can play kind of classic, but most importantly, I'm an X guy. So for me personally, well, I like Battle Network slightly, a little tinge, but then you have Star Force, and then you have Zero, and then you have ZX, and then you have Legend. It's really hard to find somebody unless they're a hardcore fan, because those do exist. But it's like, feasibly speaking, right? How are you going to sell all your games when it's so convoluted? It's so confusing for the casual audience. I have 2 stories. I'm gonna keep them relatively short, but I have 2 experiences. Actually, funnily enough, I have the same type of story from Monster Hunter, but this is a Mega Man video, so I'm gonna go with Mega Man. But I have 2 situations where I got 2 of them, or I had an opportunity to introduce them into the Mega Man series. One was a success, and the other was a failure. The successful one is actually a bit of a shorter story. In fact, he's actually in chat right now. He's a success story, Mr. Raptor Claw. So basically, I was like, yo, bro, go play Mega Man. And he did. It's cool. But let me tell you the failure. So a buddy of mine, he he's been playing games. He's been trying to learn some games and whatnot, and he noticed that all I stream is Battle Network, which, well, yeah, that's what I stream, right? And so he asked me, all right, and he gave me the stipulations too. Hey, so I'm gonna ask you for a game, and what do you recommend? And he also mentioned that he notices that he watches he notices that I stream the Battle Network series. So he told me he would only do one volume, and he's not gonna 100% the games. But which one do you recommend for the Battle Network series? Do I go volume 1 or volume 2? Now, we always joke around and talk about how hard would it be to convince somebody to play Mega Man? Well, I can personally tell you at this point, damn, son, it's hard. And to be fair, I mostly did it to myself, but he brought up a very good point. Like, so he's not going to 100% them. That's fine. And he's only going to play one volume. That's fine. So what do I do? Do I tell him to play volume 1? Because that is, in a sense, the correct answer. Because Battle Network is a very story-driven game. So, story-driven games, you want to, start with 1, 2, and 3. But there's a major problem with that. 1's a giant piece of shit. 1 fucking sucks. And that's rough, right? That's a really hard sell. To start with the first volume, be like, all right, a person is going to play all the games. I want to give them a good impression of the series. Hey, guy, play the first game. The first volume. So I was like, oh, shit, dude. I can't do that. Because I guarantee you, with how archaic and awful of a game Battle Network 1 is, he's gonna toss his shit out the fucking window. Because I kind of know his playstyle, kind of, sort of, or at least his tastes. This ain't it, Chief. But then you ask yourself, well, what about Volume 2? Because those games are generally considered good. Shut up. I want to hear shit about Battle Network 4. But, those games are generally considered good. But then it's like, Battle Network is a very, very story-driven game. Regardless of what you think of Battle Network 4, you can't just tell somebody to play this story-driven game, but just skip the first half, bro. Hell, I can't even be like, go play the 6th game. Because now you're telling them to play the final game of the series. And yes, it's the best one, and it's like the most balanced one, and it's the most playable one. But you're still asking somebody to skip the story, skip all these games, because then you're gonna wonder, what about the other games? Now, I will say, to be fair, if he wanted to play the previous games and he was that curious, he'd probably do it in his own time. But at the very same time, I legitimately was at that standstill. It was like, what the hell do I tell him? Do I tell him to play Volume 1? Do I tell him to play Volume 2? So, I bit the bullet, and I told him the most correct answer of all time. And that was to go play Gravity Circuit. I told him, listen, bro, Battle Network, it's a cool game and all, but I think you'll like Gravity Circuit. Spoiler alert, he did. But yeah, I legitimately could not in good conscience suggest Battle Network. I literally couldn't. I could not in good faith, because me personally, I'm not one to skip. I'm not one to skip games. Like, you really shouldn't. Although, to be fair, technically speaking, I did skip because I never played one until only really recently. Like, my first little playthrough is on YouTube, streamed. So, oops. But yeah, like, I legitimately couldn't sit there and be like, damn, bro, I don't know what to do. So I did the next best thing. Go play Gravity Circuit. And hey, they got another sale, and that's awesome. But yeah, it's nuts. It's like that's really hard to that's a very tough thing to do. And this, I'm pretty sure this is for like almost all the series. Like every single series in some way, shape, or form suffers through this. At least with Battle Network, you really can't tell people to skip those. But at least with the classics and X, like, yeah, they're not really that super story driven. You can't skip around them, technically speaking. But that's a really hard sell to tell people that, hey, you should start from here. But they're going to be like, okay, what about this one? Like, why shouldn't I play one? Why shouldn't I play two? When you have to convince them that, listen, bro, this game is not that good, you are in a losing battle. And that's why Mega Man is so hard for people to get into. Like, the casual audience just cannot, like, it's a very hard sell. I thought Monster Hunter was a very hard sell prior to World. I thought getting people into Monster Hunter was the hardest thing in the world. No, fuck that. Getting people into Mega Man is like the hardest thing of all time. You're either hella into it, or you're just not into it at all. For most people, Mega Man's like that hella hard retro game that I just couldn't get into because I had no patience. Which kind of leads to the survey, but I'll talk to that in a bit. Let's let this video play.
If there is literally no way to support it. On the other side of the coin, people say, Mega Man isn't dead, stop complaining, just be patient. But tell me, what exactly constitutes a dead franchise? How long do we have to wait with no new substantial releases before we can call it officially dead?
The answer is 26 years.
If there is no upper limit to how long we can reasonably be expected to wait, then that means we could realistically expect a new Vulgus sequel just as much as we can for Mega Man. Do you hear yourself? Is it reasonable to expect people to just have infinite patience? Oh, and I'll save you the Google search. Vulgus is the first game Capcom ever made.
One, that looks cool. And two, I mean, yeah, that's it's true. It's like not everyone has the patience of a saint. You can only wait for so long for something to come up. But this is where I kind of get into my biggest critique for him overall. And yeah, it's like, at least as the video portrays, he definitely seems like the character who just really wants a Mega Man game, but doesn't even want to try the other stuff. I mean, like, you heard the anger and the tone he had every time he mentioned Monster Hunter. It's like, damn, son, like, there are other games, and I'm pretty sure he does play other games. I'm not gonna sit here and pretend like he doesn't. I don't know the guy, but at least with the way the video was portrayed, it's like, damn, like, Mega Man's not everything, dude. Like, you gotta actually kind of open up your horizons and whatnot. Does it suck that your favorite franchise is not getting a game? Absolutely. That does suck a lot, but you know, I mean, you're kind of putting yourself in that situation of hatred and self-loathing because of the fact that you're just kind of waiting for a Mega Man game. I had previously said that I've lost hope for a Mega Man game to come out, and I've lost hope in Capcom in itself. That I take back. I officially take that back, because every time I do say that, I still kind of do have that little itsy bitsy semblance of hope. It never left. It is quite small, but I do have a semblance of hope. I like to think that there will be a Mega Man, and I do feel like there will be something. Something will come out eventually in due time. Also, in order to get somebody to play Final Fantasy, you have to get them to play Mystic Quest. Good luck with that one. So we're definitely, even though we don't have like this long, even though we're kind of in that drought of no Mega Man games, at the very same time, Mega Man itself is not dead by any means necessary. So for me to say, because they're doing something with it, they absolutely are. It may not be what you want, but they are doing something with it. So for me to say that I've lost hope in Capcom, that is incorrect. The proper thing, at least me personally, to say is that I've lost confidence in Capcom. That I will stick to my guns with. And at this very point, I just can't find myself to really be that confident in Capcom providing what I want. And I'll get more into that as I play, and then I do have like final thoughts, but do keep that in mind. I may have hope for Capcom. I just don't have that confidence. And that's a very hard sell. Also, I will be shocked if you guys still have hope for Dino Crisis. I know it seems like a dunk. It kind of is. But at the same time, where is it at, though? I just wanted to bring up Dino Crisis, but I'm going to keep playing the game. I mean, the video.
We've made it known that we want Mega Man for a decade and a half. Capcom can't pretend they haven't heard us. How long do you actually expect us to wait without getting frustrated? We're 5 years in. If we hit 8 years again with only one new release, there's going to be a riot. But do not fret, my dear Mega Man fans, for Legends speaks of a mythical game.
Alright, listen. One, I like to tease you, Raptor. Two, I would not be a part of that riot. But I can't lie to myself. I would be that guy holding the phone vertically yelling out World Star. I'm just saying.
That has been in the works at Capcom. Over the years, the story of a fabulous game, the legendary Rockman Tyson, began to be whispered among the fan base.
Oh my god,
Rockman Tyson,
holy
a game so great that were it released, it would provide so much gameplay that the fans never need fear of running out of enjoyment. Seeking this Rockman Tyson, hackers snooped from one Capcom server to another with their security breaches. Ever hoping that they'll find the Mega Man game they seek just over the horizon. Hope. Despair. Charity. Greed. Duty. Power.
Oh, you said duty.
Who can say what truly motivates the leakers? After a massive Capcom Giga Leak, which apparently revealed many planned Capcom projects, rumor has it that a new Mega Man game has been in development since 2019 called Rockman Tyson. Translated, it roughly comes out to Rockman Match, but not match as in those things you start grills with, but...
Wait, hold on, you're right! Oh no. Capcom's like, Blackbeard, if you want to find the one... No! Oh god. Oh god. No, I'm not gonna do it. But I'm gonna be 100% honest with you. I know this is a thing that's mentioned a lot. Right? Like a lot. I'm gonna be 100%, 110% with you actually. It's very unfortunate that they got breached. We cannot deny that. There is no denying that by any means necessary. So I mean, I don't think they teased Tyson, right? It was literally just through the leaks that we learned through Tyson. I just want to absolutely make sure because I don't want to like Mandela effect this and be like, no, actually they did talk about Tyson. You know, they did. Yeah, just remember that one video. Yeah, they did. You're crazy. Okay, so I just wanted to make sure that it was legit to the leaks. I really can't. I can't put any merit into waiting or like even hoping for Tyson because, well, technically speaking, we weren't even supposed to know. Like, and not to mention, COVID happened. Like, I will actually get into that. So, a lot of people have kind of thought, and they're like, you know, COVID happened like a while ago, bro. Like, you know, what the fuck? Like, where's their Mega Man game? I think enough time has passed. I think it's been enough time. I'm gonna be real with you. There's you cannot say enough time has passed. We're still feeling the effects of COVID to this very day. Oh, we still have people working from home. You know, that's still a thing. Like, yes, we're slowly but surely coming in to we're slowly but surely getting back to normal, but truth be told, we're never going to be normal. It's just not going to happen. And COVID 100% slowed things down immensely. Like, I legit would not be surprised if there was actually even gonna be a Mega Man game. Like, I do believe Tyson would have been a thing, right? Like, all this talk about like how like it's such a hard sell for Capcom. Well, yeah, now you have to convince them over COVID, bro. It's like, do you see this shit that just happened? Hell no. My ass is going to Resident Evil. Hell, people are still wearing masks to this day. Like, this virus has not gone anywhere. It's still a thing. Hell, I even had it not too long ago. So, yeah, it's still a thing, guys. Like, COVID's still happening. It may not be, like, super crazy, like, when it first came out and it was awful, but, like, it's still there. And it's still gonna be there. We're still gonna feel these effects for God knows how long. So, to kind of be like, oh, COVID's done, or we've already like been through this. Yeah, it's like you're still gonna feel it. They're still feeling it to this very day. Not to mention, on top of that, now you have the leaks. You bet your ass that slowed them down hard because they literally got their pants pulled down. We saw their ass crack. Now they're like embarrassed as fuck and flushed and all this crazy shit. It's like, oh god, oh fuck, oh god, oh fuck, oh god, oh fuck. Yeah, we weren't supposed to know about this stuff. And now our whole timeline and thinking is so skewed with almost anything, but really Mega Man. I'm really talking about Mega Man here because it's like now we're just hoping for a Mega Man game. But it's like, well, we weren't even supposed to know this. Now the surprise is kind of ruined. So, I mean, like, eventually they'll come out. Maybe, possibly. Hell, it might even be something completely. I don't know. I legit don't know. But yeah, like, it'll come out. But you know, no, I understand not everyone's patient, and I try to be as patient as possible, but I also don't have very much patience. But this really is one of those times where it's like, gotta wait, bro. Let this shit cook, bro. Just enjoy all the Monster Hunters and Resident Evils in the meantime. I'm sorry. But yes, in due time. Really. I'll let him talk about Tyson some more, though.
Match as in combat, to fight. Various sources from Capcom claim that Rockman Tyson has some pretty massive promises to make good on, such as it will please all kinds of Mega Man fans, or that the game is supposedly going to have a humongous budget, a long-term DLC plan to support the game long after launch, and all sorts of other crazy things. The rumor mill also states that apparently the game was supposed to have come out by now in Q3 of 2022, but the 2020 COVID-19 pandemic reportedly really screwed things up at Capcom, and we all just have to be a little bit more patient. But that was back in 2020. It's 3 years later, and there still has not been a drop of news regarding this mythical game.
And there still won't be. That's just a fact. it just takes a lot longer, you know. Hell, we were supposed to learn about wilds like a little while ago, but now we learned about it through freaking Jeff Keighley, and that was not too long ago. And hell, that game ain't even coming out till next year, so I can't imagine how long Tyson will be revealed. Although I will say, it's hella bold to think that you're gonna get everyone, but hey, I'm gonna have the confidence, but I like to be proven wrong. Oh, I'll definitely say that. Um, yeah, like just like John said, you have to wait. It's not a matter of fact of like, oh, you want to wait. No, you kind of have to now. Some shit happened, shit that we didn't even see coming. Well, maybe some did, but uh, yeah, it was it's gonna be a hot minute until we even hear these things. But let's continue.
For all we know, it's
My notes out.
vaporware, destined to never actually release. Or perhaps it has been quietly cancelled, like the third Mega Man ZX game or Star Force 4 were back in 2010, and we were never supposed to actually find out.
Okay,
Whatever the case is, here we are now.
I will say, I'm not a Capcom employee by any means necessary. Okay, but I don't think they'd cancel it. I'll be that bold. I don't think they would. But like that is like, oh, like cuz it's like it's basically kind of saying that they have the same mentality as they had those years ago, where it's like they really don't. And the numbers do show. The sales do show there. And the fact and the effort that they're putting through, even though it's not what we want, it's still something at the end of the day. It's still in their minds. And maybe they actually, hell, if anything, they might, we don't even know. They might just be the biggest fans of all time. And hell, they might even be bigger fans than us, and we just don't know it. Okay? They might be like, they might have to temper their keep the power levels in check type of stuff, right? I don't know. That's just a joke. But yeah, like, I truly do feel like, it's just, you legitimately just have to wait. That's just the end of it, unfortunately. And I will say in confidence, I don't think the game's canceled by any means necessary. Would it be silly to cancel it? Sure, but and I'll also entertain the fact, maybe even play devil's advocate, if you call it that. I don't know. Maybe it is canceled, and maybe they didn't see that, but I think, personally speaking, that's like a 1%. I am on the camp of, it's still in the works. We're just not going to hear for a very long time. So, keep doom posting, I guess.
Nothing. Just like 2011. In the 13 years since the great Mega Man drought of the 2010s, it would seem that Capcom has learned nothing. Forgive the metaphor, but at this point, being a loyal Mega Man fan is a lot like being in an abusive relationship. That's
a horrible thing to laugh at, but oh my god, have we reached abusive relationship levels, bro? No way. Like, okay, I go back to the analogy of the temperature where it's 85 degrees, but it feels like 100. Okay, sure, it might feel that way. Maybe if we really stretch it, but no, dude. Oh my god, we're not gonna. Oh, Jesus Christ, dude. Oh my god. That's a funny line. That's a funny ass line. Like, listen. Again. I get it. I really do. But I don't think it's that bad. I'm just gonna put it out there. I just don't think it's that bad. It's a shitty feeling. I ain't gonna I mean, if I had to really put it in perspective, I feel like maybe it's on the same levels of like you stepped on poop barefoot, or you stepped on the Lego, maybe two Legos, but I might be pushing it. Or I don't know, it's just maybe they run out of Sunny D at the supermarket and you gotta wait a week or so. I don't know, but I'm not gonna. Now, listen, I get it. I understand that you want to make it seem like it's a really bad thing, which it is, I guess. But I don't think you want to put not getting a game for many years on the same level of catching hands from a guy who is not happy with you at the moment. That's yeah. Maybe you can make the argument, and I'm not even saying you should make the argument, but if anything was going to have that sort of actually, I can't even say it. I was gonna clown on Dino Crisis again, but I can't even say that either. It's just too absurd, man. It's oh gee, that's just weird. Oh god. Oh my gosh. But yeah, like I'm gonna just let him keep going.
Capcom deprives us of the things that we need. They say that they're sorry, and then give us a small taste to keep us coming back. And then they go right back to neglecting us. For almost a decade and a half, Capcom has been drip feeding us trickles, fractions, particles of Mega Man content and merchandise, as if to keep the fanbase on life support, but refuses to either pull the plug and officially announce Mega Man's retirement, or to just finally give us what we've been asking for. It's an incredibly frustrating state to be in, especially as we have seen the successful revival of other Capcom properties, such as Devil May Cry, and the continued pampering of franchises like Street Fighter, Resident Evil, and Monster Hunter.
Correct, like, kind of refresh my memory. When did Mega Man 11 come out? And then when did Devil May Cry 5 come out? Remind me. I mean, I know when 11 came out, but when did Devil May Cry 5 came out? Or when was it, like, I guess announced, if that makes sense? Same year. Okay. I wanted to make sure. I wanted to absolutely make sure. Um like I mean, 2019, relatively around the same. The point is that it's relatively around the same. Like come on now. Like, again, personally speaking, classic's not my cup of tea. But hey, something happened. It was cool. It was great. I liked it. It's neato. It's neato. I'm just saying. But you really can't, because Devil May Cry is kind of on that same boat. In fact, if I remember correctly, I think they were like a place below. I'm not gonna pull up the tweet because that requires me to full screen that. But yeah, it's like they're kind of on the same boat. And yeah, I don't hear the shit from Devil May Cry by any means necessary. By the way, oh, maybe I do. I don't know. It's just, yeah, okay, it is number 5. Also, I love Nebula Joy. They're my favorite company of all time. Teehee, by the way. But yeah, it's like, I guess he's making it seem like, I'm pretty sure you've seen the meme of like the person in the pool holding up the baby, and then there's like a drowning baby, and then there's like the skeleton on like the bottom of the ocean. He's making it seem like Mega Man is a skeleton on the bottom of the ocean, when at worst the baby is either drowning or it like fell off the floating tuba, and that's as bad as that. Realistically speaking, Mega Man at the very worst is the drowning baby at worst, but on the caveat that it's wearing floaties, so it's not really drowning, but it seems like it's drowning. And unfortunately, Dino Crisis is in the abyss of the ocean. I'm sorry, I had to do it. I had to say it, bro. I had to say it. I'm so sorry. I'm gonna keep playing this video. And I'll get something one day, I promise. No, the skeleton is Darkstalkers.
If you're not a fan of those 3 game franchises, you're basically out of luck. Hell, we've even seen a creation of a brand new Capcom IP in the form of Exoprimal, a sometimes PvP, sometimes PvE wave-based shooter in the same vein as D3's
I love you, Raptor.
Earth Defense Force. All this and more is coming out of Capcom, but never Mega Man, a franchise integral to making Capcom the success that it enjoys today. We've been told over and over and over to speak with our wallets, to somehow show Capcom.
Okay, so before he gets to this point, though, I do want to kind of talk about a little bit about Exoprimal. Okay. Could you give the argument of, hey, maybe we could have put a Mega Man game instead of, say, Exoprimal? Maybe. You could probably make an argument. I wouldn't, because, like I said, right, if I were to use the logic, hey, you do what you got to do. I'm glad you stuck around for as long as you did, Aurora. And I'm gonna upload this later on, so you'll be able to see it anyways. You have a wonderful night. And I'll probably host you afterwards, anyways. But yeah, so yeah, like you have a better time, an easier time selling something new, which is Exoprimal. And from what I'm hearing, it's doing okay. I don't know the full numbers, nor am I that interested. But, I mean, it's just kind of there. It's just there. But, even so, you'll have a much easier time convincing them to make something new with this new idea, because new ideas are a risk. And by the way, if you wanted to play the risk card, there's the risk right there. They took the risk with Exoprimal. They would rather take the risk with Exoprimal than do a risk with Mega Man, if we were to use that logic. But at the very same time, I do feel like they are still in that cooking phase of Mega Man. And it'll happen in due time. But right now, they kind of want to get their bearings. They kind of want to, like, obviously they want to sell what they know sells, which is Street Fighter, look at Street Fighter 6, Resident Evil 4 is killing it, and then Monster Hunter. I cannot wait for Wilds. And then, not to mention, World had that giant resurgence that actually did numbers, which is kind of insane to me. And now I'm seeing nothing but people trying to deathless Monster Hunter, which is nuts, by the way. But yeah, yeah. Unfortunately, the fact of the matter is, those are what sell. Mega Man doesn't sell like it. I mean, actually, truth be told, I don't think Mega Man sold very well to begin with. It sold well enough, but nowadays, good enough is not good enough. And yes, that is true. People voted with our wallets. Just because it's not a new game, that doesn't necessarily mean that you're not supporting Mega Man. Anytime they bring out this new drip, this new figures, like just anything Mega Man in general, that is a little bit towards Mega Man. May not be as much as we'd like to think, but it is at the very least, excuse me, something. It's kind of insane that Mega Man, even though it's not at its like former glory like it used to be, it's still in a better state that it is now than what we actually truly think. Because again, I hate to actually, you know what? I'm done clowning on Dino Crisis for now, but it could be worse. You could be Darkstalkers and just have nothing or very little, and that's sad. But you know, I'm trying to be fair, trying to be, you know, a little hopeful, but I'll keep going.
What we want. I'm sorry, but I think we've more than done that already. The entire online Mega Man community has been singing in unison like a chorus that we are dying for more mainline Mega Man games. We made Mega Man 11 one of the most successful Mega Man games of all time. We made the Battle Network Legacy Collection one of the most successful games of all time. I even think the other Legacy
Where's my Senko figure? God damn it. That's what I want.
collections collectively sold better than the games included in them at the time of release. I don't have the figures in front of me, but that sounds correct. Mega Man X-Dive is not only one of the most beloved Mega Man games of all time, it is also one of the most well-received mobile gacha games of all time.
I'm just saying, it gave me Lair. 3 of them. I'm happy. Look at them. Look at them.
Period. And while I
Oh,
don't
and I like ours too.
have the sales figures in front of me, I've seen the rates for some of those premium packages. X-Dive absolutely made Capcom a lot of money.
May I remind you, at one point, Mega Man or Rockman X Dive had the had a package where you can buy enough gems to spark for like $300-ish. That was a funny time. But yeah, I just wanted to bring out that fun fact.
So what further actions does Capcom want to see? What the hell else is there left to do? I personally have participated in at least 2 mail-in letter campaigns and was part of the mob that surrounded Seth Killian with the rest of the Get Me Off the Moon supporters at a New York City convention some number of years ago. And those were just for bringing back Legends 3. There is no way Capcom is ignorant to the demands of their far
by the
more
way.
popular Mega
Just
Man
curious.
series. We've been saying for years that we want new Mega Man entries. We got lucky and managed to get Mega Man 11, but we've also been begging Capcom for a Mega Man X9 since 2004, and Legends fans have been begging for Legends 3 to become a reality since 2000, and again in 2011 when the project was scrapped. I really have no idea what more we can do, how we can be more clear, or how we can make our wishes known to Capcom.
And I will definitely say something here. This is where my critique of this is where I wish Capcom was a bit more vocal, and this is where I wish Capcom wasn't too safe. I wish they did say something more. Like I can't deny it is quite disheartening. It is quite sad to be this vocal and then just hear like nothing. But truth be told, you don't deserve anything. It's a very harsh thing to say, but at the very end of the day, Capcom does not have to tell you jack shit. I can only say that they should be more vocal and maybe say something here and there, or maybe acknowledge when certain dates come around. But the unfortunate truth is that they really don't have to say a goddamn thing to us. And I guess in some sense they kind of took that route. And is it a bad look? Well, yeah, it is. But at the very same time, I really do think it is the game of patience. It is the game of how patient are you to be getting what you like. How long are you willing to wait? And I'm gonna be fair. For those who have stuck around as long as you did, goddamn, you guys are troopers. I'm kind of there. Kind of, but I'll get more time in a bit, but I'm pretty sure a lot of people did jump ship, you know? They're like, yeah, fuck this, I'm tired of waiting. I'm just gonna, if something comes along, I'll be back. But otherwise, I'm gonna go play something else. Or do something else.
I think we as a fan base are desperate for literally any sort of acknowledgement of our desires. If a new game isn't a possibility, then at least tell us that. Please stop teasing us and jerking us around. Just say that our voices have been heard and we know that this wasn't all in vain. At this point, I may have lost some people watching who think that the Mega Man community is just complaining too much, that maybe we are not entitled to any sort of games no matter how much we ask for it. Capcom doesn't necessarily owe us anything, except I think they do. If fans stop supporting Capcom, their income dries up and they go out of business.
I don't know. Resident Evil got something to say. So does Monster Hunter, Street Fighter. I'm just saying.
Way, they are reliant on our support. This is a basic fundamental aspect of supply and demand. There is a very loud and clear demand for Mega Man, but there is a very desperate lack of supply. I mean, no disrespect to the team behind Exoprimal, as I have played that game and thoroughly enjoyed it. But can anybody explain to me how that game, a brand new IP with a ridiculous premise and gameplay that, as far as I can tell, is not in high demand, managed to get a new game developed and released before a new Mega Man game did? Oh, but Capcom doesn't...
Again, you have a hell of a lot of a better time to convince someone to something new than to even continue with Mega Man. And I was gonna say something, but I think he's gonna say in a bit, so let me let him play.
Need the support of Mega Man. They make enough money on Street Fighter, Resident Evil, and Monster Hunter. Fair enough.
True.
Counterpoint. Capcom could make even more money if they provided the supply to the Mega Man demand.
True. That's why they're bringing out figures.
Making money is the primary objective of every company or corporation, no matter what.
I mean, if you really look at it, right? I'm not gonna stay here and pretend that I know how much making a game costs. I'm just not even gonna entertain that idea. But I guarantee you, the profit margins to making a game is way lower, assuming the game is average, than, say, putting some plastic together to create a cool figure. I'm pretty sure you'll sell more of that than the game. Again, unless the game is like that much gas. But yeah, it's like, you know, yeah, exactly. It's like Mega Man. You just have to like you have to admit it. Like Mega Man is not in this giant pedestal you put it in. That's where Resident Evil and Street Fighter and Monster Hunter, most especially Street Fighter, because yeah, they have a Capcom Cup. They have tournaments. some mad lad put a new Chun-Li mod in their weeklies, but hey, yeah. I don't blame you, Eric. I'll be perfectly honest with you. I legit don't blame you, but I've watched this video like 3 times, 4 times at this point, so you're definitely getting money's worth, Reploid.
What their Twitter PR guy tries to fool you into thinking. We want to give you our money, Capcom. Why won't you give us the goods we're asking for?
There's your Dino Crisis, by the way.
In exchange for it. The mythical Rockman Tyson made these extraordinary promises, if the rumors are to be believed. But Capcom doesn't even have to make it that hard for themselves. It's expected to be one of Capcom's...
You're right. They don't have to make it that hard for yourselves. That's why they just stick with what sells. I'm sorry, but it's just true. Like, it is an unfortunate reality that as a Mega Man fan you have to live with. Like, yeah, the other franchises are gonna get so much more attention because that's just the truth of it. But I also am not gonna put Mega Man under the dead category either.
Best-selling games? It has to release first for that to happen. Tyson claims it will make fans of all kinds happy.
If that game ever comes out, I'll say when I believe it. I don't believe it.
How about you focus on the 2 most successful sub-series fans first? Out of Mega Man Classic, X, Zero, ZX, and Legends, 3 of them have concluded stories or are low-priority games in terms of popularity and overall sales figures. Mega Man Zero has...
Okay, hear me out. Hear me out. Guys, hear me out. Don't leave the video, okay? I have the solution. Hear me out. When it comes to Zero, ZX, and Legends, the sequels, tournament arcs. And maybe split them into 2 versions. One of them being like a solar-esque type version, and then the other one being a lunar type version. It'll sell numbers, bro. I promise.
As a concluded story, Mega Man ZX has a cryptic hidden ending, but ultimately could be left where it is.
Can't be the Hihachi for the tournament arc? Problem solved, bro.
And for Mega Man Legends, the same thing applies. We would all scream with joy for Legends 3 to finally come back in some form, but if it never does, we at least have a bittersweet ending that lets you know that Volnut's adventures will continue even if we never get to see them.
He's building the Volnut Dome, bro, for that tournament. He's building that dome for the tournament, bro. Trust, big trust. My uncle at Nintendo, Capcom, Sega told me.
I'm not here to sell my Zero, ZX, and Legends fans short. I want Legends 3 to happen more than anything. But realistically speaking, let's set aside our ideal games and focus on what is likely to actually happen within our lifetimes. That leaves Mega Man Classic and the X series, which, luckily for Capcom, are also their 2 most successful series for Mega Man.
Alright, I think he does mention it afterwards, but where the fuck's Battle Network, bro? And we don't even talk about Star Force, unfortunately. But this is where I do agree, right? There's so much division, and I'm not even gonna count like the games that have endings to the stories, because you can literally do whatever you want, really. But you cannot disagree that, at least in terms of popularity, especially Classic, that's where it's at. I mean, hey, look, look at all the other games they made. They made Mega Man 9, Mega Man 10, Mega Man 11, and this is the thing that really irks me with Capcom, but I cannot blame them by any means necessary. Anytime it comes to making a Mega Man game, they do resort to Classic and then X. The only difference is with X, they kind of turn into a gacha game, which is it's a smart move, but because like mobile games are the thing, right? It's just unfortunate that they, yeah, we don't talk about that. But it is true. Like, they exist for a reason because those are the ones that sold the most. Those are the ones that, I mean, for fuck's sake, Mega Man 2 was like one of the highest selling for God knows how long, and then it got dethroned a few times. But yeah, exactly. And Battle Network, I'm not gonna sit there and say like, oh, they have a chance, but the collection did sell quite a bit. They still might have to sell a few more, but it sold a bit. I think it is kind of safe to say that Battle Network does. There is something there for Battle Network. We just don't know what, if there even is going to be some, but it's there because let's not forget. Let us not forget. Rockman X Dive may have been an X primary game, and it may have ended in a giant ugly fart, aka dive armors. But which was the Mega Man? The only other Mega Man to come out of there with an armor. That's right. Little Hub Hikari is the one who got that dive armor. None of the other Mega Mans got it. That is kind of stretching it. I'll admit. But that did happen.
If for some reason Capcom is having a hard time choosing between the two, might I suggest they just alternate? We already got Mega Man 11. Why not give us Mega Man X9 next? Rumor has it, X9 was almost put into development, but stopped during the planning phases and focus shifted to Maverick Hunter X, the Mega Man X1 remake for the PlayStation Portable from 2005. People have been clamoring for a resolution to X8's cliffhanger for almost 20 years. With Mega Man Classic, each game...
Guys, I'm gonna be honest. I forgot X8 ended at a cliffhanger. Is that bad? Damn, bro.
more or less has a self-contained story, and so the time between releases doesn't really sting as much since there's no pressure to see the story resolved in the next entry. And this dichotomy of Classic and X is actually perfect for Mega Man. There is always going to be a group of fans who love the cartoony, wholesome, more innocent side of Mega Man, and for them, Classic is a perfect fit. You can absolutely have a teensy bit more edge as seen in Mega Man 11, which did a wonderful job of modernizing the designs and characters, but it also managed to retain its cuteness factor, which is a very important element in classic Mega Man. But the...
Alright, I do want to talk about one thing though. He doesn't mention it in this video because it wasn't out at the time, but the survey. The survey came out. I don't know if you guys did it, but there was a survey, a Capcom survey, and number one, it was a very cheeky survey. These motherfuckers knew exactly what they were saying because they're like, hey guys, what's wrong with us? And they knew. They hit the goddamn issues on the nail every time. They know. They know. They know. But I will say I did get very irked. I got kind of, and this is definitely a personal thing, right? This is 100% a personal thing for me. This is how I personally feel, but I don't expect everyone else to feel the same way. In fact, I don't even expect people to agree with me, to be honest with you. But we all saw the remakes part, or like, what game would you like to be remade? And you know, you saw your original trilogy for Phoenix Wright, Darkstalkers, I believe, was there as well. But of course, the thing that all of us 100% saw was classic Mega Man 1, 2, and 3. Now, he does address the remakes here, but not in the survey aspect. But personally speaking, it absolutely irks me that they, like, it's one thing to mention Mega Man, but it's another thing to specifically mention classic Mega Man. Because you can say the same thing for X, mostly just X, but it sucks that they're resorting to classic, but I get it. I absolutely get it. And even though I don't like it, and truth be told, I didn't pick it because I really don't want to see that. But I will give credit where credit is due. Yes, there do exist the classic remake. It does exist. However, and this is not necessarily saying that we're going to get the same treatment, but I picked Phoenix Wright, by the way. But I will say this. When it comes to remaking things now, Capcom is killing it. Look at Resident Evil. Resident Evil 2, 3, and 4 were remade. Outright remade. When we first saw 2, we were scared shitless. Because a lot of people like OG Resident Evil 2. A lot. And then when Remake came out, it was a fucking good game. It was so good. We're like, holy shit. Now, there are issues with the remake compared to the OG. There are some things that didn't come through. There are some things that are quite different. But at the very end of the day, that remake was fucking great. I can't say the same for 3, but it was still a good remake. It was just, lacking. But then 4 remake. Mwah, chef's kiss. That shit's fucking fire. So, with that said, I'm not here saying that we're going to see a real lifelike Mega Man running around in Raccoon City like Leon did. But I will at the very least say, I do believe that if they were going to remake the game now, it's going to get one hell of a fucking treatment. Like a really good remake. And so if it does happen, I do have hope for it being actually very nostalgic, but different at the same time. And I'm going to be perfectly honest. If they actually do remake the first game, I'm pretty sure most people will be very happy. But I do feel like when it comes to making the classic remakes, if they kind of treat it sort of the same way as they did with the Resident Evil remakes, I think they got something going there. And I do have confidence in that aspect that they'll actually do well. So I'll give them that. I may not want it. I may not absolutely want it, but that is definitely something that I can't see happening. Credit where credit is due. There you go.
The X series also shows incredible potential for what a more mature Mega Man franchise could be. That is precisely what the mission statement of the X series was from the very beginning. This was not just Mega Man, it was Mega Man in the future.
To be perfectly fair, let's not forget that when Mega Man X first came out, we all thought it was Mega Man 10. We didn't realize it was a whole new thing. I'm just saying. But yeah, I agree. These games could also use a really nice, cool remake like that. But I'm not holding my breath for that. If it does happen, it'll definitely be way down the line. But I'm not holding my breath on that. But I think we'll see classics before we even remotely see anything X. So I'll leave it at that.
An edgier, more mature story for a slightly older audience. It tells deeper stories with interconnected plots and characters and mature themes, with enough subtext and lore to keep people hooked on the plot developments as much as they were with the gameplay. I would even dare to say that a large majority of the Zero series fan base would find a comfortable home in the X series if the same love and attention to detail was afforded to the X series as was the Mega Man Zero games. Despite what some may think, both of these franchises are not that dissimilar,
Hey,
and actually
hey, hey, hey. We don't live in that time anymore. I'm just saying. Okay. I'm just saying. But knowing them, they would absolutely reference that stuff. I'm just saying. No. Oh, well, actually, I don't know. In fact, I'll kind of rewind it, but I think he's more saying that. I'll rewind it a little bit. I think he's more saying that for those people who are into the X series, they could be into the Zero series. But I'm gonna rewind a bit, and then I'll let you hear it.
Man Zero games. Despite what some may think, both of these franchises are not that dissimilar, and actually cover a lot of the same ground thematically. Even the gameplay of Zero is fundamentally just expanded from what the PS1 era X games established. The only difference is that the Zero series spends a lot of time developing the story, while the X series focuses more on a plot that is mostly secondary to the gameplay.
And Zero fucking dies.
But I see no reason why you could not manage to have a healthy, equal balance of both. The X series is ripe with plot, lore, social commentary, and world building, on par, if not exceeding that, of the Zero series. But because it never gets capitalized on, the X in Mega Man X is more associated with wasted potential, despite having infinite to work with.
Dude, I told you, he comes back in the tournament arc. Relax.
So right there, you have classic fans satisfied if you simply release a new classic game now and then, and you have X and Zero fans satisfied by borrowing some of the appeal of the Zero series and merging it with the tried and true appeal of the X series. That's 3 out of your 5 primary Mega Man sub-series taken care of. And that's to say nothing of potential side games within each series. For some reason, Capcom seems to think that the only thing we want are numbered sequels to each game. But do you have any idea how many years have gone by that I've heard people asking for a Devil May Cry style action game set in the Mega Man Zero series?
Here comes the Unity games.
Or even a Dynasty Warriors style crossover Mega Man game with heroes and villains from across the entire franchise? And I know that Capcom can absolutely make it happen because they developed Sengoku Basara, an excellent crowd-fighting beat-em-up in the style of Dynasty Warriors. They wouldn't even have to develop a new engine for it because they already made it for Sengoku Basara. You could...
Okay, listen. One, I like how he grabbed this person's videos where they like showcase like really cool, epic scripted scenes of like weapon usage and things like that. Number one. But secondly, listen. Oh god, I forgot what I was gonna say. I'll let this play out.
Make a
Oh, now I remember. Okay, listen. A Mega Man Muso would be pretty good. I think it would be. But I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm gonna be absolutely honest with you. Hyrule Warriors ruined it for me. Not because Hyrule Warriors is bad. In fact, Hyrule Warriors is great. If you haven't played that game, you should. But unfortunately, obviously not counting Dynasty Warriors because it's, well, Dynasty Warriors. Hyrule Warriors kind of set the bar for me where I think, oh man, that would be really fucking cool. And then like Fire Emblem Warriors happened. So yeah, you win some, you lose some.
Monster Hunter style game set in the Legend series, where you and a team of diggers track down and defeat massive Reaverbots and plunder dungeons.
Yeah!
All of these are just a few ideas off of the top of my head that would require little to no effort for Capcom to adapt from existing games that they already own.
I will say this. I get where he's coming at, where it could be, yeah, you can probably expand on some ideas, maybe kind of mingle some ideas here and there, but I kind of feel like, hopefully I'm using this correctly. It kind of feels like this is like a bit Mega Man pilled, where it's like you're still thinking with the mentality of the person being a Mega Man fan. Obviously, a Mega Man fan would enjoy it, but you really have to ask yourself the most important question: would a non-Mega Man fan get into it? That's the bigger question, and that's why they shoot. That's why they always go to classic, and that's why I also feel like classic would be a game that people like if they were to make the classic remake and give it that Resident Evil feel to it, or like the remake feel to it. That's why I feel like it would be such a good idea, because they now know that Mega Man, I mean, they've probably known this for years now, is that Mega Man is a very hard game to get into. Hell, I just told you 2 stories where I had a chance to get someone into it, and they did, and then got another chance to get someone into it, and then made them play Gravity Circuit instead. But play the game, by the way. But yeah, at the very end of the day, you can't just include Mega Man fans anymore. It's not just about that, because I'm gonna be honest with you, Mega Man fans, you might think there's a lot, but there's not. There really isn't a lot. But you know what there is a lot of? Casuals. There's so many normies out there. It's not even funny. So if you can get their attention, if you can get their money, then maybe perhaps sure. That's funny. By the way, that's funny. But it's like, yeah, you're gonna have a very hard time getting someone into oh yeah, also without gotcha, unfortunately you can't just have a Mega Man game and then put Subway Surfer below while having a Family Guy clip like playing in the background. You just can't. You have to somehow design the game to not just incorporate Mega Man fans, but you also have to incorporate, newcomers. Because I mean, that's how you're gonna make the money. And should they do that and succeed, well, that's how they're gonna get the numbers like Resident Evil's getting. But and I'm not even saying that the Resident Evil remakes did that per se. It may have done that for a lot, but I don't have the numbers. I'm not even gonna pretend to entertain that idea. But I'll tell you one thing: playing Resident Evil 2 remake is so much easier to play than the Resident Evil 2 OG. Not to say that I think it's a bad game. I don't think that at all. But it's just like you have a much easier time getting someone into the remake than to the OG. And that's what Mega Man's really at right now. Right now, getting people into your series is a very hard thing. But if Capcom somehow manages to figure out the way where not just everybody can do that, not just Mega Man fans, but everyone else can do that, that'd be fantastic. And you know what? I have full confidence that Capcom can do this because they've done this already. That game is called Monster Hunter World. That game bridged the Monster Hunter fans with the people who didn't even know about Monster Hunter. And look, that's like one of the most successful Monster Hunter games of all time. It's phenomenal. They somehow managed to get the casuals and the experts together to mingle. And I do think Capcom can do it. So, I'll let the video play a bit.
These are concepts for Mega Man games that I am confident would be successful, and they all make use of things Capcom already has in their possession. I literally
That's true.
cannot
Street
make
Fighter
it any
6 is
easier
also
for them. Mega Man Battle
a
Network
thing.
is experiencing a resurgence in popularity thanks to the Legacy Collection. Nobody would be mad if you somehow made another one of those. It was by far the most successful Mega Man subseries in decades. The mass appeal of Battle Network is palpable. How have they not made a competitive online net battling game yet? I mean, sure, the Legacy Collection has online PvP for now, but I'm talking about a proper, overhauled game dedicated to matches. I promise you, Capcom, nobody would be mad if you simply made a side game that took place adjacent to an existing game.
Okay, I laughed, but I have to be fair. I have to be absolutely fair. At least with the Classic Collection, I mean, sorry, the Battle Network Collection, they did try. They didn't get it like they wanted to, but they did try. Like, the Legacy Collection was definitely that collection where they actually did attempt, right? Like, they didn't just slap their games onto a collection and then just sold that, or like put some art or whatever other bullshit they did with the other collections. They didn't just do that. They actually put in effort and like, okay, we're gonna bring the Japanese versions, you know, and they did try with PvP. They did try with the networking. They tried. Maybe it wasn't a complete success, but thankfully there is a very cool way of doing that, and Capcom, don't worry about it, but they're playing their game. Don't worry, bro. It's okay. But all jokes aside, like, it is like, yeah, they absolutely positive. I didn't want to say the name. They absolutely positively, they did try, but I mean, as we know, when it comes to the Japanese and netcodes, yeah.
In the timeline, or even if it simply made no sense at all and was a wacky crossover game like a Mega Man Battle and Chase 2 in the same vein as Mario Kart 8, which features many crossover characters and tracks. How about surprising everyone with Rockboard 2 and making a fantastic Mega Man party game that celebrates the history of the franchise? Breath of the Wild has set a new standard in open world exploration, and yet, when I was watching the trailers as it was announced, I couldn't help but feel that I had already seen this style of gameplay in a 3D action game before, and I had, in Mega Man Legends 3. Much like in 1997, Mega Man Legends actually beat Ocarina of Time to the punch by releasing first, and did many of the same things that game did, arguably better in some cases, despite what Zelda obsessives will argue. So,
Here's the thing. Just because you did it first, that doesn't mean you did it right. And that's kind of what happened here. Like, I don't know if we're gonna count 64. Maybe it's two different things. I'm not entirely sure. But or Mario 64, I mean. But if we're gonna talk about Legends doing it first over Ocarina of Time, sure, you have that title. That's fine and dandy. But regardless of what you think about Ocarina of Time killed it. They absolutely killed it. Okay, we are counting Mario 64. Yeah, Mario 64 fucking did it first. What are you talking about, bro? But yeah, it's like they did it better, and that's why they're more well known. That's why more people know Ocarina of Time, Legend of Zelda. I'm sorry, Super Mario 64, Legend of Zelda. Again, I love Mega Man too. Don't get me wrong, but like, I guess I'm a prime example of just me not giving a shit about Legends. Like, Legends may have done it, but I mean, I more remember Ocarina of Time and Super Mario 64 over Mega Man Legends. I'm sorry to say, but yeah, they did it better and they did it more memorable. And yeah, this is the end of it, unfortunately. But I mean, maybe they could have done it better, the 3, but again, 3 or just Mega Man in general was at that point where it's like, yeah, we're kind of done just shitting games out. We're gonna close all these, and it's sad, but that is what happened.
So color me shocked when I saw Barrett running around a massive island, sprinting up walls, riding around on a hoverbike, collecting serve bots, and showcasing an amazing freedom of movement that I had not seen before in a video game of that type. It's not too late, Capcom. Nintendo has shown you what you could have had with Legends 3. Open world action games are reaching their pinnacle. If you ever wanted to break into that market now, with a familiar and recognizable IP attached to it, now is the time to revive Mega Man Legends. You nearly had Mega Man Maker with Mega Man Universe. Nintendo showed you up again with Mario Maker, giving us a glimpse.
Guys, I'm gonna be honest with you. Every time I heard of Mega Man Universe, I did not know it was like a Mega Man Maker-esque game. I just saw the designs. I'm like, this is like the ugliest thing I've ever seen in my life, and just glossed over it. Oops.
Of what could have been. And now the fans have taken it upon themselves to fully realize the game we almost got with a literal Mega Man Maker fan game, which enjoys massive success and is beloved by the community. That...
Should I bring this back? Or at least play it a bit? Because I did
Slot
play
in.
this.
Recovery drop.
Cool, thank you. It's been a very hot minute since I even touched Mega Man Maker. But I mean, Mega Man Maker is a great game. Like we played it. I mean, it's like Mario Maker at the end of the day, right? It's like, but Mega Man. Just, you know, I'll think about it. It's definitely something I can do. It's definitely something I can also do like later. Yeah, have a good night, Eric. Oh god, I feel so bad for people who have to sit there and watch this video, bro. But I'm gonna upload the whole thing later, and you guys will be able to watch in your own time. So at least I'll make your work shift pretty cool, I guess, if you wanna, you know, do that. But yeah, have a good night.
could have been yours. You have a clear starting point, with Classic and X being the two most glaringly obvious series.
Also, I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna leave this part for like towards the end, but I definitely do have something to say about fan games and like spiritual successors.
To make a new game for. And if you actually gave either of them the same love and care you give to Monster Hunter, Resident Evil, or Street Fighter, you would have success with Mega Man not seen since the 80s, 90s, and early 2000s.
The numbers,
Start there
Jack.
and branch out slowly. You cannot go wrong. It is literally impossible to fail when all we want is a new Mega Man game of any kind. There are endless possibilities you could apply to the Mega Man franchise, but you have to actually do it. You cannot make profitable Mega Man games if you never make Mega Man games in the first place. You need to stop speculating on whether or not Mega Man is profitable, desired, or recognized as a successful property. We have all...
I mean, it's hard to say whether or not Mega Man is profitable because, well, that 2000s did such a number. Although they do have things like Dive and the figures and Mega Man 11, so they probably know. I mean, actually, what about them? I say they do know. It's just, you know, they have to find that balance. They have to find that winning formula. And with Mega Man, that's a really hard thing to do, considering at its what state it's at and has been.
proven it to you over and over and over again. We have not just spoken with our wallets, we have shouted with them. Me, and countless others have made entire YouTube channels and Twitter accounts dedicated to singing the praises of our favorite franchise.
I absolutely
Does it all
agree.
fall on deaf ears? Mega Man is the franchise with an ever-expanding fan base, but no games to match it.
Yeah, I cannot agree even remotely. If anything, Mega Man is like one of the hardest games to get. I like for many years I thought it was Monster Hunter. I just think it's Mega Man. At this point, I truly do believe that Mega Man is like the hardest thing to get into. It just is. Like I don't see, I mean there might be some other things that are harder to get into, but to play up a meme and kind of be funny, I think you'll have a easier time getting people to play Dark Souls than to play Mega Man. Probably. Maybe.
New fans are constantly joining the fold. I greet them on an almost daily basis, and they thank me for introducing them to Mega Man. And then I watch them slowly bleed away because they see that sticking around will not pay off, and everything that there is to see exists in the decades prior. Pick a game and make it. It's that easy. There is no wrong answer.
Can somebody tell me when Mega Man X came out? I'm having a hard time remembering.
We've inserted our coins. We've told you loud and clear that we want to play, but you have to push start. So where does that leave us now?
Hey Coleman, thank you. I was 2 years old, bro. Do you really think it's a really hard sell, man? Like, and that's the thing too. It's like a lot of the fans are old, bro. Like we are old farts, bro. I mean, maybe not that old, but we're old. Try to get a youngin to play these games. It's hard. You can do it, but it's hard.
Well, to be honest, I don't know. For all the shouting and yelling I'm doing, I'm not actually sure that any of it even matters. When Mega Man Legends 3 was cancelled, it broke me in a way that I've never recovered from. I don't really get hyped for games anymore. I don't get excited. I don't vibrate with anticipation like I used to. They don't become my sole
Dudes, I'm turning 33 in a few weeks. Man.
focus from the time of announcement to the time of release. Mega Man Legends 3 was the last game that did that to me, because I knew the harsh reality now, that at any time, anything I truly wanted that I did not create or grasp for myself could be taken away in an instant with no remorse. And that I could cry and wail and beg for 8 years, all while quietly still supporting my favorite franchise and not get so much as a thank you from Capcom.
I absolutely do agree. I mean, hell, again, you weren't here, Coleman, but I actually do have a person in chat who I did get into Mega Man, and he's in his 20s. It is very possible. It's just quite a tall order, to say the least. And also, me personally, I don't like telling people to skip games. That's just a me thing, though.
Because they were getting all
Also,
of their
sheesh.
profit from somewhere
Actually, yeah,
else.
Smash
and in
is
the grand scheme
it's
of
definitely a
things,
good
my years of
a
support
good thing.
meant nothing to me.
Definitely a factor to it.
But for one glorious moment, I had hope again. I had faith that Capcom would treat their fans right, and not just pamper and spoil their big three franchises. Mega Man was seemingly making a return. Devil May Cry 5 got announced. Capcom began developing new IPs. It was a magical time, and my faith in Capcom was being restored. Even non-Mega Man fans were calling this Capcom's redemption arc. But 5 years later, and I'm beginning to...
I still think some of the things Capcom does is kind of cringe. But I can't deny they're definitely better than they were before. I don't know if you guys remember On Dust DLC. Those are the times, man. Oh boy. But I do think they are better. I mean, there's the whole thing with the DRM stuff and whatnot, and that in itself is a mess because like that for sure. I can't fully agree with what they're doing, but at the same time, there's also this whole thing where they're like a lot of the things that they're doing is being told that it's being told way worse than say what it actually is. Like the whole thing with the DRM, uh, people were like saying, "Oh, look, it has viruses. Oh God, it got malware." And oh, geez, no, it just turns out the guy had hentai games and he had a bunch of them. Oh, sheesh, bro. But yeah, it's like that's the thing that bothered me the most. It's like the constant misinformation that people are gonna believe, and that's what really sucks. But that's not to excuse Capcom either. Capcom is doing some pretty dumb stuff. It's just it's not as bad as you think it is, you know. Sometimes you gotta slap them in the face a little bit, be like, stop. And they won't, but I just don't think they're that bad. I love misinformation. Me want to spread misinformation, bro.
To feel something I am very familiar with. It's
in fact, that's me right now.
Feeling, but it's one that I am oddly comfortable with. It's a deep feeling of disappointment, resentment, bitterness, and a profound lack of faith in anything related to Capcom. I don't want to feel this way, but what choice do I have? If you watched from the beginning and didn't skip around, you'd know that Mega Man has always been a part of my life. It is the primary reason I support Capcom at all in the first place. I'll never abandon Mega Man. But I'm also tired of waiting for something new to happen that's never coming. This pains me to say, but I would honestly prefer it if Capcom would just retire the franchise and tell us that this is the end. At least that.
Okay, the Chun-Li player with the mod. It's funny to think about. All right, but this is the point. This is the part of the video that I truly waited to like really say. And my takes are a bit mixed. So on one end, let's just take the statement at face value. Should Mega Man be at that point where they're literally doing nothing with it and it's just being teased constantly and there's just no hope of a game coming out? Then I would agree. Like, at that point, maybe you should let the series rest because you're clearly not going to do anything with it. Maybe perhaps you should just let it go because you're not going to do anything with it. But that's taking that statement at face value. I do agree with that statement, but then you have to really sit down and think about it. Is that truly what's happening right now? I agree with not like if nothing was really done with Mega Man, then I would absolutely agree. You shouldn't really let Mega Man linger like that. You should just say, hey, we're just not going to make any more. That's it. But that's not where Mega Man's at right now. And that's why, even though I agree with the statement at face value, I can't agree with the statement right this very moment because Mega Man's not at that level. Mega Man's not at that point where it's so dead, it's so out of reach that there's just nothing going to come out. I just do not agree with that at all. And I mean, our I have a good night, Coleman. I mean, I'm gonna upload this later, so if you want to listen at some point, by all means, my ass is gonna stay up all night to edit this anyway. So, but have a good night and thanks for coming by. Really means a lot. But yeah, so Mega Man's just not at that point. We definitely are like the Doomers. I don't blame them for thinking this way. That's just the thing, right? I don't necessarily blame someone who's doom pilled super hard in thinking this way, but at the very same time, maybe cut down the dosage to like 0 because I'm going to be real, it's not that bad. It might seem very bad. It might seem horrible to you. But Mega Man is not at that point where it's like, yeah, let's put the dog down. I did say this a while ago, right? But that was just me being very exaggerated, being me. But if to speak objectively, to truly sit down and think about it, they're just not in that level. And if they do get to that point, it's gonna be a very hot minute. Like, you'd have to be doing maybe not even double digit millions, like multi-millions. They're in 4th place. It's not top. It's not top 3, but they're still up there. So, I believe Shadowrock did say it in the video, though. Like, if maybe we get to that point where it's like been 8 years or so and there hasn't been a Mega Man game, then maybe, perhaps, probably, you might have the right to bring out the pitchforks, sure. But I do truly think that there is something's gonna happen. I don't know what. I'm not a Capcom dev, by any means necessary. I just, for some reason, play these games a little too much. Probably. But it is pretty weird to say that I'm gonna hang the towel when there's still something there. But at the very same time, I don't blame people for feeling that way to the point where they just don't want to care anymore. Because, I mean, truth be told, I'm kind of at that point. The only difference with me, at least, is at this point, I'm just gonna relish and enjoy what I have. Like, I mean, look at me, I'm playing the fucking Battle Network series, for God's sakes. Like, and then, like, I'm gonna look at the other stuff as well. I still, to this day, play some of the Mega Man games here and there. Like, we all do it. But, you know, we enjoy the stuff for a reason. And we're gonna go back to it at some point. We do go back to it. And if something new comes out, that's perfectly fine. But before, I said I didn't lose hope in Capcom. I've lost confidence in Capcom. I do at this very moment. I don't have any confidence. Or my confidence is very little that something's going to come out relatively soon, and that's fine. Because at the very end of the day, Capcom's a business. They want to make money, and clearly, whether you like it or not, Resident Evil, Monster Hunter, and Street Fighter make numbers, and then they have some other stuff too. But that doesn't mean they've forgotten Mega Man. You just have to have patience, because certain events happened. You're kind of at that point where you have to have the patience. But obviously, you cannot tell people to have that patience, because not everybody has that patience. So, me personally, what I definitely have been getting more into is the fan games. Because even though there have not been actual Mega Man games, there have been Mega Man games. They just don't have that Mega Man title. And this is the part where I'm going to absolutely shill the shit out of some of these games. But, I mean, we've seen them left and right. Like, we've seen spiritual successors. We've seen fan games. We've seen all this cool stuff, bro. Like, it kind of started with Mighty Number 9. I know it's a piece of shit, but it's something. But then you have things like Gunvolt. You have things like Gravity Circuit. Shit, my ass is enjoying Lunar Lux like crazy. God damn, that game's great. And then we have Berserker Boy coming out. And trust me, there is so much more out there that I have more confidence in the fans bringing Mega Man games than Capcom at this very point. But that doesn't necessarily mean that you gotta, like, I wouldn't necessarily outright give up on Capcom. Keep an eye on them. Keep an ear on them. But I don't blame you if you feel like you've waited too long for a Mega Man game. But trust me, there are Mega Man games out there. You just gotta open your eyes and look. I've been shilling the shit out of Gravity Circuit and Lunar Lux. Quinn will absolutely shill the shit out of Gravity Circuit. Hands down. I can't stop, okay? But at the end of the day, like, they are there. They're absolutely there. You just have to look around. Hell, funny thing, at least me personally, I found both Gravity Circuit and Lunar Lux out of pure happenstance. Complete happenstance. How did I find Gravity Circuit? It's quite simple. I found the artist, the musician, Dominic Ninmark. I found his Mega Man Battle Network Eurobeat remix. That shit's gas. And then it turns out, oh, he's the fucking composer for Gravity Circuit. Oh, that's a pretty cool game. What the hell is that about? I played the game. I fucking cried. That game's like a 10 out of 10 for me. And then Lunar Lux, how did I find that? In the sea of titties and ass that is my Twitter timeline. It was recommended to me via a random tweet talking about, hey guys, check out this new game based on the Mega Man. I forgot what the tweet itself said, but it was basically kind of saying, hey, this is a new game called Lunar Lux, and it's very associated with it's basically brought up as Mega Man Star Force. I'm like, oh, well, shit. How come I never heard of this game? And then I play the game, and I 100% it like last week. Yeah, so it's like, holy shit, like, wow, how the fuck did I miss this? Because they had like a whole Kickstarter and everything. I missed it, but hey, I'm glad I got it now. And look at that. I have like what 40-something hours in that game now, something like that. And I'm still streaming the game. Absolutely, I'm having such a blast. So I guarantee you, it might not be the Mega Man game that you want by Capcom, but there are Mega Man games out there for you. I guarantee it.
Then we wouldn't have any false hope left to destroy. And what's the alternative? Capcom releases one new Mega Man game every 10 years. Is that normal? Is that really all we can expect? While Street Fighter, Resident Evil, and Monster Hunter get new games, expansions, and
I hope we get a Resident Evil 43. It ain't. I don't think it's gonna happen in my lifetime, but I do hope. I hope. It'd be so funny. It'd be so funny.
See, constantly? In the time I've been waiting for a new Mega Man game, not counting Mega Man 11, entire people have been born and grown up in the gaps between releases. If you don't
Hi.
count the classic series, some people have been born and grown up into adults. Entire new generations are getting into Mega Man, and besides mobile games, collections, and Mega Man 11, the latest game they have that was actually released was Mega Man 10 in 2010.
I just want to point out, okay, I know somebody who got married. Okay. Mega Man is so old and so much has happened that I knew somebody who I knew for quite some time, and he got married. And guess what? His name's Shadowrock.
Majority of Mega Man games available to people are from multiple decades prior. An entire decade of my own life has gone by with effectively no new Mega Man content. I say without a drop of irony that I fear that my life will be near its end before this trend reverses. So here we are, the fans that never stop cheering, as well as never stop.
Listen, I might be in my hospital bed when we get that Mega Man X9 finally, but you bet your ass are going to pop off in my AV bag. I'm just saying.
Suffering. We keep making our voices heard loud and clear, but either Capcom is ignoring us or is too inept to take action. Either option is a terrible reality to live in. But it's not like we'd ever know which one it is, as Capcom seems dead set on radio silence and stringing us along with rumors and promises.
Yeah, that's true. Damn, man. But that is the nature of it. Rest in peace, Racehuff.
Not that those promises mean anything, given Capcom's track record. The obvious option is to assume the worst about any new Mega Man project. Over the last 5 years, I was slowly convinced that Capcom is back, that things would get better now, that everyone else was just being a doom and gloomy naysayer. But now, I'm not so sure. How much more of this can we take? Were we really all fooled by one new game and a string of model kits?
Oh, sorry.
If this ever reaches the ears of Capcom, we're begging you, give us an answer. Either show, not tell us, that something is coming, or just pull the plug and let us enjoy what we have. But whatever you do, stop stringing us along. By the time
I mean, you still can enjoy what you got. I mean, that's what we've been doing this entire time. But yeah, it's like I I cannot agree with the dooming. Like, okay, I joke about it, and sometimes I'll like join in on it too, because I like jokes. I like to joke around and kind of like prod the cow, you know, things like that. But in actuality, it's like it really isn't that doom and gloom. And if you feel like it's that way, I suggest, I heavily suggest that you kind of get out of that slump, man. I legitimately feel like you will definitely feel a lot better than if you were to just stay doomy and gloomy and take it from me, a person who's been depressed for quite some time, to the point where I eventually said, you know what? It's either I stay depressed for the rest of my life and live and wallow, or I actually do something about it. And yes, that is the $1 million question. Will the next game come out before Corrupted? The world may never know. It would be really funny, though.
a new Mega Man game comes, if it ever does, you'll have already destroyed all the goodwill the fan base has cultivated for you. If it ever reaches the point that nobody cares about a new Mega Man game coming out, I want to make it explicitly clear. You'll have only yourselves to blame for it. We tried. We begged. We pleaded. We supported you with all of our might, and you ignored us. Don't let things reach the point of no return. But I'm warning you, if your biggest fans are losing faith, the fans who grew up trying to be virtuous like Mega
That's
Man
pretty
X,
meta.
who grew up inspired by Rock and his courage, the ones who dreamt of a prosperous future where technology makes dreams come true and elevates mankind, the ones who modeled their morals after the blue heroes on their TV and game screens, who changed their lives, you are steadfast on your way to losing everyone. Somehow, against the odds, Mega Man, a largely abandoned game IP, continues to attract new fans. But those same fans will continue to bleed off if there is no new content to keep them around. If the only fans left are the casual fans and newbies who don't really care about a decade between releases because all the ride or die Mega Man fans have died rather than ride, why even bother making games anymore? From a business perspective, you've lost the diehard fans. You're basically starting the franchise from scratch again in terms of buyers because everyone else has already bled off and given up. Instead of retaining
And instead, they went into Resident Evil, Monster Hunter, Street Fighter. I'm sorry, but yeah, this mentality is just not even remotely healthy by any means necessary. Like, all no jokes. Like it, like to keep having that mentality of like truly hanging on to only Mega Man and that's it. That's not good at all. Like, not even remotely. And uh now obviously I would like to hope and think that he doesn't truly feel that way. At least how do I say it? I do hope that even though you say you feel this way, I do hope that you are actually doing something else besides just waiting for Mega Man. I'll go into it a bit more, but I do want to finish this up because there's actually a bit of a quote unquote twist.
Maintaining the loyal fans you've been accumulating since the 80s. Why start from scratch? Why do nothing and let everyone fall off? I don't think I'll ever stop hoping for a new Mega Man game because it truly is that deeply ingrained in me. But I'll never be able to fully enjoy it even if it does happen because I'll remember everything I did and everything Capcom didn't do. This isn't just empty complaining. We've spoken with our wallets. We've expressed our opinions on every website. We've written physical letters, launched fan campaigns, and video essays. We have poured our hearts out. If a new game happens, great. But why did it take so long? Why did we have to go to such extreme lengths to get what we wanted? New Mega Man games feel like something we have to pry out of you, but other games are effectively a guaranteed inevitability. Why are you abandoning what was once one of your flagships? You made us wait 8 years before. I don't want to wait another 8 or more. You have 3 years left to turn it around. If 2026 comes and there's still nothing, we'll know the 8-year drought wasn't a fluke, but the new normal. How sad that would be. Please don't waste a perfectly good fan base, Capcom. Don't waste a perfectly good game. Please do something. Anything.
All right, so I think he's gonna actually address the video in its whole a bit, but I like I'll not even comment what he says afterwards, but just taking this part and before, um, I do understand that you know you grew up with Mega Man. We may not have grown up the same way per se, but and I mean I feasibly can't say like I'm a giant super fan in that sense, but I am a pretty big fan. Like I mean I started YouTube with Battle Network. Like it's just me S ranking the Battle Network 6 Navis. That's literally how I started. So to say that Mega Man wasn't a pretty big part of my life, that'd be lying to myself. But at the very same time, and this did take me quite a few years, but to get and comprehend. But at the very end of the day, um, you have to learn to really accept the fact that maybe sometimes you're not gonna get what you want. You're not gonna get like your favorite company is not gonna do what you want. So you gotta find other outlets and other things to do. But and actually to truly end it off, I understand the sentiment that you're going with, but it's really hard to take it seriously when and I've watched this video several times, mind you, I'm even gonna address that at the very end. But this really did sound like a very jolted X, where it's like, even though there's a bunch of other stuff to enjoy and like, you're so bitter and pessimistic about the one thing that you truly love that it's really hard to see it seems like it's hard to be happy, and it's probably true, and I hope that's not the case by any means necessary, but I get it. but I hope it's not. That's not the case. But I will agree with one thing for sure, and this is my absolute criticism with Capcom is y'all need to say something. Like we don't deserve anything, truth be told, but if you truly want that goodwill, you probably should say something. You should probably be a bit more communicative and vocal about what's going on. Like it is very disheartening. There is no denying that by any means necessary. And I kind of do feel like I'm a bit lost in like, oh well, are you gonna do something about it? Are you not? I don't know what to think. I don't know. Like, I did wish we got something. Like we got like whether it be like a letter or like some sort of something, anything. Just say something that is something that I wholeheartedly agree with. There needs to be more communication. Do we deserve it? Not really. And I don't mean like we don't deserve it, like we shouldn't get it, but they really don't have to, but they should. And I feel like they would. But for some reason, they're just not. Or maybe just don't know what the fuck to say. This is probably the case. But, and the other big thing, one of my other criticisms with Capcom is they play too goddamn safe. They play so goddamn safe. And I absolutely, yeah, we're not owed. That's what I'm trying to say. We're not, like, just because I demand something, that doesn't necessarily mean you have to give it to me, but it would be a really nice gesture. Like, it would be like a really nice thing to happen. Because if you do it, then hey, there's some goodwill that's there. Hey, you're actually listening, you're actually speaking, you're actually addressing it. And that puts confidence back. Because that's what I'm lacking right now. Confidence. I got hardly any of it. I have hope, but I don't got that confidence. My ass is looking for a gravity circuit. That's what I'm doing, basically, if when it comes to Mega Man. But I understand that the whole thing in 2000 and that oversaturation of Mega Man happened, and it really like it did quite a bit of damage to Mega Man as a whole. But I feel like you can be a bit more risky. You can do a bit more than just figures that you know is going to sell, or put things in crossovers like Compass or things like that, or you know, or even just collection. Because I do agree in a sense where like collections are cool and all. It's a very nice way to like modernize the games and put them in modern things. But at the very end of the day, it's not like it's nothing new, and it would be cool to get something new. But you know, I get it. Like getting burned that bad, it's really hard to like take that risk again. Again, it's a lot easier to have convince somebody to make something new like Exoprimal than say, hey, let's do something with Mega Man, because we don't know. But I do feel like time will tell and something perhaps will happen. But I'm actually gonna let this video finish because I did mention that this video has a very negative connotation to it, and he sounds like a very jolted ex. But truth be told, he picked up on that.
This is where I was going to originally end this letter. This guy has more to say? Yeah, I know, I never shut up. But over the course of editing this, I got some additional feedback, some alternative points of view, and I think it's better to end this all on a happier note. I realize that this video has had a pretty negative tone most of the way through, but I want it to be known that I greatly appreciate all that Mega Man and Capcom has done for me personally and the community. I don't want this to sound like we're all a bunch of kids banging our utensils on the table demanding more food. It's just that 2018 felt like having a really good home-cooked meal for the first time in a long while. And while X-Dive was a fun little distraction, it's sort of like eating a candy bar to hold you over until the next meal. The only problem is, I'm worried that next meal is going to be as far away as the last one was, and I don't want us going hungry again. The reason why myself and others are making such a big noise about Mega Man is not because we're ungrateful, but rather because we love Mega Man and Capcom so much, and the time spent away from them hurts. Some people say that maybe this is just how the franchise will be from now on, and we are just there to nurture the existing content and cherish what little we get. That is absolutely true, that we should be doing both of those things. But I also can't see why it has to only be that way. There is clearly a demand for more of our favorite blue hero. I just hope that the powers that be will answer the call. Sincerely, a lifelong fan, and the rest of the Mega Man fanbase.
So that's the video in a nutshell. Even he realized that, yeah, I don't sound that great. And I'm glad he caught that. Although, if I had to be honest, I kinda... I mean, he probably wanted to take this video out as soon as possible, which makes sense, right? Because, like, you've done so much work, and to just outright essentially discard that and then kind of, like, make a cleaner, maybe more objective video, I get that. Like, maybe he didn't necessarily want to outright stop that, or like he wanted to put out what he put, but he also wanted to put the message like, yeah, you know what, maybe I didn't sound that great, but and I'm glad he did that. But I mean, the fact of the matter still remains, as much as I like to joke about it, as much as I like to prod at it, it's not doom and gloom. And it could be a lot worse. It truly could be so much worse, but it's not as bad as you'd like to think. And you see it on the Twitters, you see it in like some of the servers you hang out in. It's like it gets very negative and very toxic because we just don't have a Mega Man game. And it is, I mean, it could be very well possible that we're going to be waiting years for a new one, if we even get one. We don't know. We legitimately don't know. I'm not Capcom. You're not Capcom. You might be Capcom, though. You should probably say something. But yeah, really, we just don't know. So, I like to hope. I like to think maybe down the line there will be one. But me personally, I'm not going to hold that confidence. So, you know what? Instead of holding out and waiting, I'm just going to look elsewhere. And I'm going to, if I can find that same thing elsewhere, aka the fans spiritually bringing that alive, then you bet your ass I'm going to go there. But should something happen with Capcom and they actually do bring out something and maybe that legendary Tyson comes out, fantastic. But until then, personally speaking, I'm gonna shill the shit out of the Gravity Circuit and Lunar Lex. And you guys should buy those games. You absolutely should support those games. I will not outright say whether or not to support or boycott Capcom. That's completely up to you. Obviously, if you want a new Mega Man game, by all means necessary, then yeah, vote with your wallet. And voting with your wallet doesn't necessarily mean, hey, buy all the stuff. If you truly are unhappy and you feel like Capcom is not giving what you want, then not buying their things is also voting with your wallet. Because it basically says, hey man, you fucked up. I'm going to give my money to someone else like Nintendo or Microsoft or even Sony. There are plenty of other devs out there doing stuff. It's not just Capcom. So, yes, you can buy and support Mega Man by any means necessary, but you can also do the same with Capcom by not buying any of their stuff. But at the very end of the day, we're all people. We all have our opinions. We all have our wallets. You do what you got to do. The only thing is, be respectful about it. Be uh, gentle with each other, and don't disrespect people. Like I said, I wanted to. I may have clowned and joked and things like that, but I did try to not at his expense. I wanted to make sure that yeah, it's if there's any clowning of any sort, it's for some of the things that you may have said that sounded outlandish, not necessarily you per se. And and then yeah, like if you truly want Mega Man, I guarantee you probably didn't play all the Mega Man games. I sure as hell didn't. Uh, by all means, hit him up and you know, give him a shot. Maybe I will give Legend a shot because I never cared about Legends at all, but maybe one of these days I actually will give it a shot. Uh, maybe I will find the One Piece somewhere at some point. Maybe I don't know. Maybe I'll play Dino Crisis. I'm sorry, I have to get that sick duck out there. But no, really though, you just give it a shot, and of course, hey, if you can get some people to start playing the games, by all means, like don't like just because we have stories of like successes and failures, you're always gonna have a failure if you don't try. So I'll always give it a shot. I'll always I want to make sure that the person likes it, and maybe I mean I could in that other story I could have probably done better by suggesting it differently. But yeah, I wholeheartedly believe that I believe that there will be a Mega Man at some point, but I'm also gonna make sure I stay happy and healthy, and um, I want to make sure I'm happy. I'm not gonna stick around for something. That is true. That is absolutely true. And who knows? They might be cooking something with Devil May Cry as well. We just don't know. It's just for some reason Mega Man is like extremely vocal when it really shouldn't be. But it's like, you know, I I mean I'm just not gonna like I'll hope for things, but I'm just not gonna like truly wait there. Like I'll just like come by every once in a while like, hey, what's up? Oh nothing? Alright, I'll be back later. Things like that. Not to mention I'm with like you guys anyway, so if something does happen, you'll be telling me like, oh shit, let me get on. Let me hop to it. But I do hope you guys enjoyed this. Oh my god. How long have I been going? Almost 3 hours, 40 minutes. Sweet Jesus. Oh god. I got a lot to do. But yeah, at the very end of the day, yeah, that is true. There have been games that are got it a lot worse. I mean, shit, you can be those devs that EA kept buying and closing eventually, You can be them. And then those games are essentially like dead in the water, or at the very least like in the repertoire, but just kind of just there. So yeah, at this point, just enjoy what you got. You know, hope your game doesn't become a battle royale or a gotcha game or an NFT. You know, that's still so funny to me, dude. But anyways, I think that's about really all I have to say. I don't really got very much more to say. Uh, so I'm glad people came by and like heard my words. I'm just some guy at the end of the day, but um, you know, I'm glad that you guys are willing to listen. Even those who watch it like after the stream, like just watch it as a YouTube video that I'll put up. It means a lot. So obviously, if you're more if you're interested in this type of stuff, I might consider doing more of this. I don't know when, because God, this took a while, but I don't mind doing it. I enjoyed my time. And of course, no shit flinging either. Like, that's not my goal. So, you know, if he does see this, I hope it's like no disrespect, regardless of how I feel. So, anyways, thank you all for coming by. Holy shit, I'm tired, but I got things to do. So I will see you guys tomorrow. And I'm hoping to have this up at the very least tomorrow afternoon, but if not, probably Thursday. So we'll see. I'll be a jackass. Love you all. You all have a wonderful night. And remember, there will be a Mega Man game, but if not, there's always Gravity Circuit and Lunar Lux. I'm just saying. Just saying. Have a good night. Bye, Gravity Circuit and Lunar Lux.